Welcome in to the Rant. I'm Pugs Moran, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios here in the beautiful E-Gallery. Mic up a little bit. There we go. It's a Monday, so we're getting everything back into what is happening here. Hi, Pugs. That's me. We do this show every day, Monday through Friday, right about noon time. We cover all the hot topics, current events, headlines, whatever it is that people are squawking about. And let me tell you, we got a big day today. We've got a whole bunch of stuff happening in the world today. Stuff breaking as I'm sitting here talking to you folks. And we'll get all to it. The show itself, presented by me in what's called a stream of consciousness. That's right. Just me. I got no partners. I got nobody to talk to. Got no commercial breaks, not going to play any music, not going to, check on traffic, none of that stuff. Just me with my thoughts. Now I wake up very early and I start to put together an entire day. I look at all the news stories. I watch all the morning shows. And then I perform this stream of consciousness for you every day at noon. Been doing it for 3 years here on RadioMisfits.com. Like, follow, subscribe. Pugs Moran on any of your socials. That's where you can find me. The show itself, a stream of consciousness, will be sort of hemmed in a bit by 4 quarters. I present the show in 4 quarters. First quarter, we call that antecedently on this day. That is a look back at this day in history, all the things that happened on this day. Well, when they're not interesting, we riff on it a little bit. Quarter 2 is birthdays. You know what that is. Quarter 3 is deads. Dead people who died on this day. Historically speaking, this person dropped dead on this day 20-something years ago. Where did they go? Did they go to heaven or did they go to hell? That's what we do with quarter 3. Quarter 4, that's the hot topics, the current events, the headlines. Oh, my God. We got Manhunt news. We got Daniel Penny news. We got Syria. We got all kinds of stuff happening. Golden Globes, baseball contracts, crazy football games, college playoffs. Oh, it's a big day. And we're going to get into all of it. I'm going to give you my hot takes. But I want you folks to come and join the chat room. Come one, come all. Get inside. Hang out. Let's see. What do I need to tell you about? Pledge Week ended last week. I guess we made it. We made it. Yeah. Sure. I don't know. It was a close one, but I think we definitely, we're fine. We're going to be doing shows. This show runs on your tips and your gratuities, and once a week, once a month, I should say, at the end of the month, or I guess it's more like the first week of the month, because I pay my bills late. We do a pledge week. We ask you folks to help out if you can, and we have to make a certain nut every month. And we've been doing it. We've been making that nut. So thank you so much to everybody who helped out. Not the least of which we want to thank. Who do we want to thank? We want to thank Frankie. Frankie got in there. Terry got in there. We got the Sports Bras got in there. Thank you, boys. Let's see. Al, of course. And then your Leslies and your Aprils and your Byrons and all of them. So thank you so much, folks. We made it. We'll live to fight another month. All right. Let's see. What do we need to talk about? Small talk segment. Do I have anything off the top of my head? Not really. I gotta leave the design district. I gotta go on like a Magellan type voyage this afternoon, right in the heart of rush hour. It's awards banquet night, I guess, at my son's high school. So I gotta go. I gotta watch him get an awards. He's getting we know he's getting an award. We know about one award. He made all district academic. So that's good. It's what we want. I tell him all the time. I don't care if your football team wins a game all season. You got to get good grades. And he does. He holds up his bargain. So we know he's going to get all district academics for football. We're also thinking he should absolutely get lineman of the year. We're expecting that. We're also expecting possibly, would be really nice to reward him for all of his hard work, special teams player of the year. Special teams player of the year, because they didn't even have a field goal or a kicking game until he was finally, after 2 games, made the starting long snapper. And then all of a sudden they got a kicking game. All of a sudden they're kicking field goals. So I don't know. I'm his dad. I'm biased, but I think that's worthy. It's worthy of special teams contribution. Player of the year. So we got to do that. But here's the problem, and I don't know why schools do this. They always do this. Is it to accommodate teachers' schedules? Because it really does suck for the kids, and it's not good at all for the parents. They hold these things at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. What the awards? So how many parents aren't going to be able to make it? Because first of all, you know what traffic is like getting up to Plano? I mean, Plano's nuts at rush hour. Why are they all? Shouldn't these things be at 7:30? Shouldn't this be a 7:30 event? But what, you got to pay the teachers to be there, so can't be doing that. So let's just make sure there's a bunch of really upset kids because dad wasn't able to make it to see them get their big trophy. Seriously, 5 o'clock. Got to be up there at 5 o'clock. And we don't know where. Talking with mom. I'm like, where are we supposed to go? She's like, I have no idea. I go, okay, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to show up in the parking lot of his high school at 5 o'clock and I'm going to text you. I expect you to have everything figured out. She's like, I will. So that's the plan. We have no idea where it is. And by the way, these high schools up there, they're like the size of junior colleges. They're just these sprawling campuses. So it is important to know where this event is going to be held. Because, you know, it could be the difference between like a mile walk around a lake. Here's what my kid said. This describes his school. He goes, I go, where is it going to be held? It's not going to be where I drop you off and pick you up for football, right? It's not going to be there. He's like, no, you got to go to the other side and then you got to cross the lake. I'm like, cross the lake? You got a lake? Apparently there's a lake back there. I ain't seen no lake, but... All right, so that's what my plan is. After, of course, I deliver to you a full day of show. A lot going on. Peter's in the chat room. Hi, Peter. Peter says it does suck having to fight your way to get there. Yeah, it's far. It's far. Well, it's not far. It is not far. Well, I'll give you an example. I took him home. I had my boy for the weekend. Took him home last night around 7:30. 15 minutes. Boom. Right up 75. I get on 75 at Lovers. I get off 75 at Parker. Boom. 15 minutes up and back. Today, I got to leave at like 3:30. To get there at 5, I got to leave at 3:30 today because it's just going to be nuts. Let's see here. Adam's in the chat room. Sup, Adam? Adam's saying sup. Jeff's here. Says, turns out Eberflus wasn't the only problem. This is why I muted Jeff on Twitter. Why is everything fucking shitty? Why is everything out of Jeff's mouth is fuck you, motherfucker? I mean, it's not that, but it's that kind of intent. Oh, God. We're talking football now. That's what he brings. Son of a bitch. All right, let's see here. Who was first in the chat room today? I always like to give a shout out to my first person in the chat room. Chuckles Nelson's here. Look at Chuckles Nelson floating the OU. He's still down. He's not going to let the college playoffs affect his fandom. Good for you. Good for you. All right, what do you say we get started with today's rant? It is the 9th day of December, year of our Lord, 2024. Did you know it's the 344th day of the year? That's right. 22 days remain until the end of the year, so get those New Year's Eve plans started. As promised, we do the show in 4 quarters. The first one we call Antecedently on This Day, and it's really just this day in history or previously on December the 9th. All right, Antecedently on This Day. On this day, 1836. I'm sorry, on this day, 1835. Those are my glasses. My glasses are dirty. Don't judge me. 1835, during the Texas Revolution, the Texian army captures San Antonio following the siege of Bexar. San Antonio. That's a garbage city. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. I love me Texas. I love me Texas so much that oh God. Landman. You guys watching Landman? I like get chills with the cinematography of Landman. Now I know they're just basically showing West Texas and all of that, but it's the same way I used to feel about Friday Night Lights, like with the cinematography and a barren ashtray of a countryside has never looked so romantic as it does on shows like Landman and Friday Night Lights. All right, so I love Texas. I choose to be here, but San Antonio sucks. Can we just be honest? That's here. I'm not like I'm not totally out on San Antonio because I do believe that in a couple of years when San Antonio and Austin become like one gigantic megaplex, that's going to be a pretty cool place. But right now it's like, I don't know. To be fair, I haven't been there in 10 years. 10 years ago, I was in San Antonio and I'm like, nope. This is like Tulsa having a bad hair day. That's what San Antonio is. Anyway, they fought for San Antonio and they won San Antonio. On this day in 1835, antecedently on this day in 1851, the first YMCA in North America is established. Where? In the very gay Montreal. Very gay. We talked about the YMCAs. It was where the gay dudes lived before they could live anywhere else. I don't know. There was apparently there were no gay people, but then there were a few, and they all went to the YMCA, the Young Men's Christian Association. We broke down the lyrics to YMCA, the song, last week during our lyrical litigation segment. Very gay song, although not as gay as In the Navy, which begins curiously with "Where can you find pleasure?" That's a weird way to open a song about military service, but okay. So the first thing is you're looking for pleasure. YMCA, the first one, opened on this day in 1851. Antecedently on this day in 1872 in Louisiana, PBS Pinchback. Now that's a name. PBS Pinchback. You would have to convince me it was real. Like if you were like, if I'm like, what's your name? And you're like, PBS Pinchback. I'd be like, prove it. No way. No way that's your name. And I have met people where I've demanded they prove it's their real name. I have. That's something. Anytime I meet a person with a really wild and cool name, and it's never like, that's a stupid name, prove it. No, I disarm them by thinking it's really cool, but not believing that it's their actual name. And then they're excited when they get to prove that it is their actual name. See, it's called breaking the ice. I'm telling you. Buy my tickets. I'm going to be at the Love Field Garden Suites. I'll be giving a speech in a conference room. Antecedently on this day in 1872, the aforementioned PBS Pinchback became the very first, remember the year, 1872, very first black governor of a U.S. state. And it was a southern state. It was Louisiana in 1872. A southern state in 1872 made a black dude their governor. They're obviously doing a bit, right? Obviously, this is some kind of historical bit for some kind of like weird reason or something. He was only governor for 35 days. And then I believe it wasn't until like the year 2010 when Douglas Wilder I think Douglas Wilder was in the mid 90s. But yeah, the first black guy, 1872 for 35 days. And then like a million years later, when they weren't doing bits, they elected a real black guy, Douglas Wilder. PBS Pinchback was his name, though. And he was a legit politician. And I don't know, I skimmed his Wikipedia page to try and find the bit, and I couldn't find the bit. So, I don't know. Antecedently on this day in the year 1953, during the Red Scare, General Electric, imagine this, 1953, this is so, look, when people get all bent out of shape about what Trump is doing, Trump is never in the history, has anything like this ever been allowed to, you're just stupid, you just don't know history. Maybe in the last 20 years, nothing like this has ever happened, but in 1953, General Electric, the biggest employer in America at the time, on this day in 1953, General Electric announced that all communists that are working there are now fired. They just across the board fired everybody who they thought politically different. That was America in 1953. A big company unemployed a whole bunch of people just because they were suspected of being not Republican or Democrat. 1953 that happened. It was allowed to happen. Can't happen now. We got laws, but antecedent, and it shouldn't happen. By the way, just for the record, I'm saying you shouldn't just, especially, look, if you run a bakery and you employ 5 people, I think that there is a difference. Okay. You employ 5 people. One of them's an asshole. You should be able to fire that asshole for anything. When you're General Electric and you're a cog in the nation's economy, no, you're not allowed to just unemploy thousands of people. Okay. It's a different thing for me, at least as far as I look at it. And by the way, who out there, who am I fighting with? Who among you is out there going, well, actually, the Red Scare did some good things. Got rid of that evil Ring Lardner and Dalton Trumbo with their fancy books and scripts and their big words. Antecedently on this day in 1965, the Kecksburg UFO incident. Let's talk about this. This is one of the big cornerstone UFO events in American history. It happened on this day in 1965. UFO was spotted streaking across the sky at about 10,000 feet. Six states. 6 states from and Canada. They started in Canada, Detroit. People in Detroit, thousands of people reported it before it finally crashed in rural Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. These things always crash in like rural areas. Shit falls out of the sky and they crash in rural areas, or they crash in the middle of the ocean, or they crash. Nobody ever gets hit. Nobody's ever been hit by a meteor. Nobody's ever been hit by falling space junk. Nobody. I mean, I'm sure somebody tried to file a lawsuit saying they were, but nobody, it doesn't happen. And that should just once again show us how insignificant we are. We are so tiny. Random shit can just hit. Thousands of things hit the earth every day from space. Nobody ever gets hit. Anyway, it lands in rural Kecksburg. UFO? I don't know. People say maybe. You can look it up. Kecksburg incident. It was on this day. They recovered it. They call it Pennsylvania's Roswell, although only a handful of dorks in Pennsylvania call it that, I'm sure. But anyway, on this day, the Kecksburg UFO incident. It's got a Wikipedia page. You can read it. Antecedently on this day in the year 2008, the governor of Illinois, Rod Blagojevich. That's right. I'm from Cook County. I can pronounce names like that. I've been voting for people with names like that my whole life. Rod Blagojevich. He's arrested by federal officials for crimes including attempting to sell the U.S. Senate seat after it was vacated by President-elect Barack Obama. All right, so let me give you my quick take on Blago. Blago is a machine politician who came from the bowels of a corrupt Chicago Democratic machine. He married Roman Pichinski, I think. Roman Pichinski, who's a big power broker in Chicago. He's an alderman, very powerful politician there for years and years. He had a daughter, and then Blago marries that dude's daughter, and then they anoint him. They're like, okay, he's got a good head of hair. He's a handsome young man. Let's run him. So he ascends to the governorship, and he's a very popular governor. He's a guy that people like. And then Barack Obama, the senator, becomes president, and it falls to the governor of Illinois to replace that Senate seat. Well, he hung a shingle and went to business. He opened up shop trying to sell that seat. He did it. He absolutely did it. That's not even something that needs to be debated. Of course he did it. He comes from the Chicago machine. Anyway, the phone conversations are what really sunk him. He's on the phone. He's on the phone with, I want to say, a guy named Roland Burris, I think it was. So Blago's on the phone, and the FBI is like tapping him because they're like, this scumbag's going to try and sell that seat. So they tapped him, and he's on the phone, and he's flat out saying, I ain't giving this seat away. He's got the Chicago accent. He's doing that old thing. He sounds like a gangster. I mean, it was really bad. So all of us, even those of us who kind of liked Blago in the beginning, myself included, all of us were like, oh, this guy's a gangster. He needs to go to jail. So when he went to jail, we were all like, yeah, he should go to jail. Then they gave him like 20 years or some shit. They gave him something absurd. And any objective person, even though it was, kind of fun to see one of these, anointed princes of corrupt Chicago politics get taken down by the FBI, that was fun. I like that. But objectively, it's like, that is totally unfair. This guy should go to jail for a year and a half. So, it was some, they put baby in the corner for a ridiculous amount of time. And it was an absurd sentence that he was given. And he was eventually let go after doing like 10 years. He did a lot of time. And now he's just out there being a clown because he's a desperate clown and he's got no legitimate future in politics. So he's out there doing stupid stuff like singing in bands, like around the Chicago area. Like you go see Rod Blagojevich's band. Just weird shit like that. Anyway, it was on this day in 2008, Governor of Illinois, Rod Blagojevich, is arrested by federal officials for crimes including attempting to sell a U.S. Senate seat. Antecedently on this day in 2012, a plane crash in Mexico kills 7 people, including singer Jenny Rivera. Oh my God, that's so sad. I have no idea who Jenny Rivera is. Jenny Rivera, the name sounds familiar, but it's we're in a very Latino-focused era of American history. That's a name I've heard a million times. I have no idea who Jenny Rivera is, but she died on this day, so that's very sad. All right, that's going to do it, folks. Aunt Celia on this day is in the books. Let's do birthdays. Let's talk about people having birthdays, and let's decide whether or not it's happy birthday, dude. You're cool, or go kick rocks, you little bitch. Born on this day in 1960. Here's a Hollywood icon. Also, involved in the whole Nepo thing going on in Hollywood. This guy's like first generation, though, Nepo daddy. Kirk Douglas, born on this day in 1916. Kirk Douglas, of course, Michael Douglas. To a lesser extent, Eric Douglas. So they took like all the best things from Kirk Douglas and they made Michael Douglas, and they're like, look, we built a better clone. And then they had spare parts and they made Eric Douglas. And if you don't know who Eric Douglas is, don't worry about it. You're normal. Nobody does. Let's see. Kirk Douglas, Nepo baby, had Michael. Now, here's the thing. Like the other day, we were talking about Jeff Bridges, how Jeff Bridges is one of my favorite like movie stars of all time. So like Jeff Bridges and Michael Douglas are kind of at the same level. They're kind of like, they're both like icons, like really. But I often think of them as like coming from the same experience, right? Because Jeff Bridges and Bo Bridges, they're the children of Lloyd Bridges, who was a TV star. But then you got Michael Douglas, and he's like the son of Kirk Douglas. He's a movie star. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's lesser. Like Lloyd, basically it's a long way for me to say that Kirk Douglas is much bigger than Lloyd Bridges. Much bigger. Happy birthday, Kirk Douglas. He's cool. Was he Spartacus? I don't know. He's Kirk Douglas. He's cool. Born on this day in 1916. Born on this day in 1922. Red Fox, ladies and gentlemen. Happy birthday, Red Fox. You big dummy. He's, of course, Sanford and Son. You ever listen to some Red Fox stand-up comedy? Red Fox was famous for decades before getting Sanford and Son. He was a big star on the Chitlin circuit, which was black entertainment in the South. Comedy, music, that kind of thing. But he was famous, Red Fox, for his after-hours comedy records. There was a whole shub genre back in the 1950s and 60s that your grandparents were into, where they would listen to dirty records at night with friends. Like friends would come over, they'd all get shit-faced in the living room, and then they'd put on dirty records from people like Red Fox or, whatever. Anyway, real dirty. Like Red Fox is just like stupid. Like, okay, be objective. If you go to YouTube at some point today, just pull up some Red Fox stand-up comedy and listen to it. It's fucking terrible. It is terrible. It's like, God, this is dumb person stand-up comedy. That's not funny. He just said wash your ass like 5 times, and everybody is laughing harder every time he says wash your ass. Red Fox wasn't like great. Not by today's standards. Fred Sanford was awesome. You big dummy. Happy birthday, Red Fox. Born on this day in 1922. Born on this day in 1933. Here's a provocative chap. Morton Downey Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Morton Downey Jr. was a provocateur. Oh, man, Morton Downey Jr. would have been great on social media. You just know it. He was like social media troll before there were social media trolls. Did a talk show out of New York City. WOR. It was a local show, late night. He would scream at people. Everybody liked that he was screaming at people. So then WOR was, a cable channel, and you could see it anywhere in the country, just like WGN and WTBS. So then all of a sudden word started to spread about this crazy guy doing a local show, and everybody started watching it. And then it became a national show. And then Morton Downey Jr., I don't know, he was just a troublemaker. Here's what I will say about Morton Downey Jr. He was a Chicago radio talk show host who I got to meet a couple of times. And both times that I met him, he was already famous for being Morton Downey Jr., for being that loudmouth who's going to scream at you. And both of the times that I met him in a professional setting, he was awesome. He was really nice, like a real professional guy, like not a dick at all, friendly, shook hands, I've always remembered that about Morton Downey Jr. That, that was an act. Like that shit that he was doing, that was an act. He was actually, he was a decent human being in the limited time that I spent around him, at least. He wasn't a frothing, screaming fool, is I guess my point. Born on this day, 1933. Happy birthday, the late Morton Downey Jr., died in 2001. Look at this. Born in 1941, Beau Bridges. There you go. We were talking about Jeff Bridges yesterday, or Friday. Friday was Jeff Bridges' birthday. Today's his brother, Beau Bridges, born on this day, 1941. I think Beau Bridges is much older than Jeff. I thought maybe they were like a year older than each other or something, but it looks like there's like a 6-year age difference. I think Jeff Bridges was born in 1947, 1948. Beau Bridges, born 1941. Born on this day in 1942, Dick Butkus, NFL icon. Good old number 51, Dick Butkus. Lost him last year. Very sad. Very sad. Born on this day in 1953, another crazy hell of a linebacker, John Malkovich. That's right, the actor John Malkovich. He was a really good football player in high school. I think he got a scholarship to play college football at Southern Illinois University, but I think he went to Eastern instead because acting, or I don't know, something fruity. But anyway, John Malkovich was a really good athlete. You wouldn't think that, right? Like looking at him, baseball and football, he was really good at both of them, but he turned into an actor. You might be able to see it. Malkovich is kind of a big dude. Like he's kind of got an athletic build when you look at him. I know he plays like these like serious, like dramatic characters, but he's a pretty big dude. He is. All right, Malkovich. I like him. Born on this day in 1953. Born on this day in 1957. How about Donny Osmond? Is he still alive? He is still alive. Donny Osmond, I don't know. He's fine. I don't really have a take on him. Born on this day in 1969, Jacob Dylan. Jacob Dylan. He of the Wallflowers. He of One Headlight. He of Two Magdalenas. He of Two, Three. I don't know. That was a good album, though. The Wallflowers put out one really good, solid album in like the late 1990s. Very yacht rocky. Like it didn't, when it came out, there wasn't a term for yacht rock, but very, very yacht rocky. And by that, I mean really smooth production and just kind of think you'd hear blasting out of the yacht of a 60-year-old D-bag rich guy. That's what yacht rock is to me. Anyway, Jacob Dylan, Bob Dylan's son, of course. By the Bob Dylan movie, apparently everybody's talking about that. Timothy Chalamet. Timothy Chalamet plays Bob Dylan in the new movie. What's it called? Complete Unknown. I wish I liked Dylan more. I've tried for years to like Dylan more. Because I respect him, and I got a lot of friends who I respect who are like, Dylan guys, and they know Dylan history and all that. I don't know. It's always been, I want to see the movie, but also I don't want to see the movie. It's like, I think it might be boring. I don't know. But they're saying it's great. I like Jacob Dylan, but Bob Dylan there's this like 4-hour documentary about Dylan, and it was made like 10 years ago. And I swear to God, for 10 years, I've been trying to watch this thing. I've been just like doing like 15 minutes at a time. And I'm just like, I don't care about this guy. I'm sorry. He can be a genius and he can be incredibly important to a lot of people. I just don't care about him. I just don't care about this guy. Sorry. Same with Mozart. I'm sure Mozart's great. I just don't care about him. He just doesn't do it for me. Happy birthday, Jacob Dylan. You do. I like you and the Wallflowers better than anything your dad ever did. All right, let's see here. What else do we got? That's going to do it. Those are the birthdays. Let's move on to quarter 3. Let's talk about people who died. Let's decide if they went to heaven or did they go to hell. All right, these are the people who died. Peter says, talking about Bob Dylan, says that Bob Dylan movie looks like it will be good. Not a Dylan fan, but Timothy looks good as him. Yeah, he does. I'm really waiting for the Springsteen movie. The Springsteen movie is coming on the heels of the Dylan movie. You got Chalamet as Dylan. You got Jeremy Allen White, from The Bear and Shameless as Springsteen. I'm absolutely more interested in the Springsteen thing. So we'll see. But again, that's a bias. That's a personal taste. Both of these artists are universally considered to be great artists, yet they are polarizing. So, people, Springsteen's okay, fine, respect, but I don't like it. That's fine. You hear that a lot. You hear the same thing about Dylan. I'm just more one guy than I am the other. All right, let's see here. Let's do the deads, right? Dead, where'd they go? They go to heaven or they go to hell? Dead on this day in the year 1965. Branch Rickey, ladies and gentlemen. Branch Rickey died on this day. He's an American baseball player, manager, general manager, ran the Brooklyn Dodgers for a whole bunch of years. Branch Rickey, when you start turning over stones, what you start to learn is that what he's most famous for is, basically breaking the color barrier in baseball. It was Branch Rickey who signed Jackie Robinson to a contract. He is hailed as a great leader and, crossing barriers and making baseball modern. So we're just going to shut up about Branch Rickey. He was a baseball executive in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. You know he was an asshole. You know he was a bad guy, okay? But the Jackie Robinson thing, there you go. We're gonna put him in heaven for that one. Dead on this day in 2003, Paul Simon. Paul Simon, American soldier, journalist, politician, 39th Lieutenant Governor of Illinois, senator from the state of Illinois. Paul Simon, not Simon of Simon and Garfunkel, but the other Paul Simon. He ran for president. He looked like Pee Wee Herman. He was kind of funny looking, and everybody went, he's too funny looking. Paul Simon, when he was senator, used to do, my first job in radio was I was producer of an overnight talk show in Chicago, the Eddie Schwartz Show. And Paul Simon was a regular guest on our show. Paul would come in monthly and do like this monthly where people would call in the middle of the night and talk to the senator about shit. He was so accessible. He was so awesome. I got to know him a little bit. I love Paul Simon. Paul Simon is the only politician, and I've met a number of politicians. Paul Simon is the only politician that I've ever met where I've gone, oh, he's real. He's the real fucking deal. He's just a kid from Central Illinois, a fucking newspaper, small town newspaper publisher's kid. Grew up on a farm. Just a good man, war hero. But he was funny looking and wore a bow tie, so he can't be taken seriously. Paul Simon died on this day in 2003. My favorite politician of all time. It's a short list. I got Thomas Jefferson in second, so that ought to tell you. Paul Simon, he's going to heaven. He's absolutely going to heaven. He was a good man. He was a very good person. Decent dude. All right. Dead on this day in the year 2021, Demaryius Thomas, American football player, Demaryius Thomas. A wide receiver, Denver Broncos legend, Demaryius Thomas. Is he from Texas? I think, is he like a North Texas kid? I don't know. For some reason, maybe I think he is. Demaryius Thomas he had a medical condition. He played football. And then I believe he had an incident with a seizure where he began having seizures. I don't know if it was from head injuries. I'm not sure. You could look this up. But I know, Demaryius Thomas died in the shower. He was taking a shower at home, and they think that he had a seizure in the shower that was related to this ongoing medical thing that he had. And it's very sad. He's going to heaven, Demaryius Thomas. He seemed like a really good dude. Seemed like someone that the community there in Denver just absolutely loved. He was super active in like kids things, and I don't know. So Demaryius Thomas, we're putting him in heaven. There you go. Demaryius Thomas. All right, guys, that's going to do it. That's the first 3 quarters of the show. We've gone through. Hold on. We may as well do this now. Why not? Breaking news, right? Let me see what's happening.
Gioni, a 26-year-old male on firearms charges. At this time, he is believed to be our person of interest in the brazen targeted murder of Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, last Wednesday in Midtown Manhattan. The suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called local police. Responding officers questioned the suspect, who was acting suspiciously and was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs as well as a U.S. passport.
All right, so I don't know if you guys can hear that, but of course the big story is that the manhunt for Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO, who was shot and killed on the streets of New York City last Tuesday, the manhunt appears to be over. Right now, the New York City mayor is holding a press conference. I believe this is the superintendent of police who we were just listening to, if you can hear it. So I'll bring you up to speed on what we know. So the suspect, the person of interest, who, again, police through the media have let us pretty much know that they didn't have much in New York, and they believed that he had fled the city, leaving from the Port Authority bus terminal north of Central Park. He went from This occurred at 53rd and 6th, right there in kind of Midtown at the Hilton. And then he went up, if you're familiar with Manhattan, he went up a few blocks and entered Central Park. He cut across Central Park, exiting Central Park West, like I believe up near where the Dakota is, again, if you're familiar with New York, where John Lennon. So he exited, like, let's say he exited where Strawberry Fields is in Central Park, again, if you're familiar. From there, apparently he got a cab and went 5 miles north to this bus terminal. That's where it goes dry. They couldn't find him. Could have been anywhere. And over the weekend, they're saying he could be out of state. He could be anywhere. We don't know. So this morning at around 10 o'clock, there was breaking news out of Altoona, Pennsylvania. And Altoona police, it was reported, were they had someone in custody in relation to the manhunt concerning United Healthcare CEO. This guy in custody matched the description, right? We all know what this dude looks like. We've seen him everywhere. We've got the one clear picture. Look, I don't know if he's a good looking guy or an effeminate looking guy, because I'm looking at him, I'm going, that may not be a guy. Are we 100% sure it's a guy? Well, it turns out, I guess that was a red herring, because the person that they got in Altoona at a McDonald's when a bus had stopped, apparently he was on a bus, the bus had stopped at the McDonald's. He's in the McDonald's, he's eating, he matches the description, police approach him. Through interrogation, they determined that this person has a suppressor. So the silencer of a gun. He's got a suppressor on him. He's also got a bunch of fake IDs, one of which is the fake ID that was used to check into the hostel in New York. And now the New York City police are talking about this. So I don't know if you can hear it. Maybe we pull it up. Let me see if we can pull it up here on. Excuse me. All right, what is this? Do we have it? Yeah. All right, let's see what's happening here. This is New York City police happening right now. News conference concerning the killing of CEO Brian Thompson.
As far as tracking the CEO's movements.
Once again, we're still.
Okay.
We have no indication that took place.
Chief, did he have any weapons or anything like that with him when he was arrested?
He was in possession of a ghost gun that had the capability of firing a 9mm round and a suppressor.
Can you get into a little bit about the technical aspects of the investigation? I know you deployed an unprecedented amount of technology. You also activated the Sentry program. That is going to play into actually building the case as far as cell phone and all of the other technical aspects of what you've done.
In this case, it really came down to technology was the use of drones in Central Park, and really comes down to the video canvas that we did. We used every source of video that we could collect, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours from hundreds of sources, and that helped bring this to where we are right now.
All right, hold on.
Oliver?
Yeah, Oliver Barnes from the Financial Times. Do you have any indication like how long this handwritten, is it a handwritten manifesto that you found on the suspect? And then also whether or not he put it online at all?
Don't know if it's online. As of right now, it's a handwritten 3-page document.
Chief, does he have ties to that area, and was he someone who you knew by name before his arrest?
We believe he may have attended college in Pennsylvania, but like I said earlier, he has ties to Maryland and California and Hawaii.
And you knew him by name before today? Was his name on your radar?
Excuse me?
Was his name on your radar? Was he someone who you had been looking into before his arrest?
No, we did not have his name prior to today.
Brent, it's okay.
What is his
Do you have
name?
Prior arrests? I know there were none for New York City, but is there any prior arrests anywhere else in the country?
We have not come across any arrests in the country.
Chief, hi, how are you? On two things. On the ghost gun, is it something you're going to be looking into to see if he made it himself and can he make that himself, or would he have to buy the gun the way it was?
No, once again, that'll be part of our investigation as we follow up.
I mean, obviously he's going to face murder charges, but is there any chance that he could face any other charges because he was targeting the CEO and because of his writings and other things that we're now finding on him? Potentially federal charges or
That
other
determination will be made by Alvin Bragg.
Yes, what connections does he have in Pennsylvania that you know of, and are they in Altoona specifically?
We believe he attended college in Pennsylvania.
Does he know anybody in Pennsylvania?
Wouldn't be able to tell you that.
All right, we're going to take one more question from Shooting Marla, and then we're going to go. You talk about the manifesto having said things against corporations, but specifically United Healthcare, and do you believe that Mangione acted alone?
We believe at this point, our investigation is leaning toward he was acting alone. So, like I stated earlier, we're still working through the investigation. We're not stopping today. And as far as the manifesto, like I said, I don't have the complete details of that. It's in the possession of the Altoona Police Department.
We're going to shift to Octa.
Yep. Good job, Chief. Commissioner, Chief Manager.
All right, so this is Eric Adams, the mayor. And Luigi Mangione, 26-year-old Luigi Mangione is who they have in custody.
Again, great job by the New York City Police Department. In certain aspects of this investigation and the crime itself is something that we have been zeroing in on. Ghost guns. We have really talked about this since the beginning of the administration. They could be made on a 3D printer. And
All right, we don't need, right? We don't need it. It looks like the manhunt is over. Let me see what we can find on this, though. What is the latest story? All right. A person detained in manhunt for United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson's murder. Who do we have here? Suspect detained in CEO murder identified as Luigi Mangione, 26 years old. Person arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania in the search for the individual who killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson has been identified as Luigi Mangione. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said at a press conference Monday that let me see here. Hold on. Make sure we got this. Said that he matches the description of the identification we've been looking for, and that he is in possession of several items that we believe will connect him directly to this incident. New York City Police Department Commissioner Jessica Tisch said, Jessica Tisch, is she related to the Tisch family? Is the superintendent of New York one of New York's most prominent family members? Anyway, Jessica Tisch said the suspect was in a McDonald's and was recognized by an employee who then called police. Responding officers questioned the suspect, who was acting suspiciously and was carrying multiple fraudulent IDs as well as a U.S. passport. Upon further investigation, officers recovered a firearm on his person as well as a suppressor, both consistent with the weapon used in the murder. I mean, this seems... I'm just saying... So there's a lot of look. There have been a lot of people offering some really interesting takes on what's really going on here, right? It ain't just a guy oh, sure, CEO embroiled in all kinds of SEC troubles with lawsuits and an angry board of directors. Oh, this just happened. Sure. I don't know, maybe. I mean, but I got to be honest. If this was like some kind of a high-end, super covert, privatized ops kind of thing, corporate espionage dudes, we've seen the movies. We know what we're talking about. The scariest people in the world aren't working for a government. They're working for a pharmaceutical company. We know this. So if it is that, and you still want to believe that, this all seems real convenient cover. This all seems like they got their patsy dead to rights. He's got the gun. He's got the suppressor. He's got the IDs. Looks like the picture that was released. Look, all I'm saying, and I don't go down those crazy people rabbit holes. I'm just saying that those crazy people, here you go. It's being laid right there for you. I mean, come on. He had the suppressor. He had the gun. 26 years old, but he's got a manifesto. What's the story with the manifesto? That's what I want to learn about. I don't know about the manifesto. Let's keep reading. Responding officers questioned the suspect who was acting suspiciously. They also recovered clothing, including a mask consistent with those worn by the wanted individual. Well, what are you doing hanging out of the mask? Don't you get rid of all that shit? Don't you burn all that shit? I mean, it seemed like in the early hours of this thing, like this dude had really thought this through. Seemed like this guy, but now he's caught with all of this stuff. He's like this good and this crafty, but he's gonna hang on to the mask and the clothes and the backpack, and I don't even know what's happening with the backpack. They found a backpack in Central Park, but they're like, yeah, it was filled with Monopoly money. We don't even know if it's the right backpack. It could just be a crazy homeless person's backpack filled with Monopoly money. So I don't know. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said at a press conference Monday that he matches the description of the identification we've been looking for. Jessica Tisch, New York City Police Commissioner, said the suspect was in a McDonald's. We've been over all this. They also recovered clothing, including a mask consistent with those worn by our wanted individual. Also recovered was a fraudulent New Jersey ID, matching the ID our suspect used to check into a New York City hostel. Open, Your Honor, and shut. Oh, I rest my case, Your Honor. This all seems pretty tidy. This all seems pretty, well, they checked all the boxes when they're, I don't know, Luigi. I got to hear from this guy. Now, if this guy, if he claims the Patsy thing, oh boy, here we go. Like if it's first, because he's alive, we're going to hear from him. He's going to have a statement. Something's going to get out. He's going to have a lawyer that's going to be speaking for him. What's he going to say? Is he going to be, oh, I'm a patsy? If he does, whoa, here we go. However, what if he just comes out and goes, yeah, I did it. Here's why I did it. And he's got this whole thing. And then he's going for the whole Robin Hood thing, which another aspect of this, which we were going to talk about if they hadn't caught him, but they caught him. So I don't know if we should talk about the other aspects of this story that I wanted to go into, like the fact that the internet sleuth community is apparently refusing to help look for this guy. You know, whenever we need some sort of, what do we call that? Farmed out sleuthing. The internet is always the internet sleuth community. They're all over it. The podcast world is filled with these folks. You know, it's that whole thing. Apparently, as it exists, or as we understand it to exist, the current internet sleuth community wants nothing to do with this. Not going to look for him. They're like, we're not going to look for this guy. This guy kind of sucks. They're talking about the murder victim, which is such a weird take, but I understand. As I said from the beginning, this is, I don't know. You know, if it was a convicted pedophile shot and killed walking down the street, I think that in the minds of a lot of people in this country, there isn't a big difference between the CEO of a healthcare company and a convicted pedophile. So this is a very complicated issue. But yeah, the internet sleuthing community, they're not down. They're not looking. Also, Bill Burr wading into this stuff. Bill Burr had an interesting take. Did you see this? He went on some talk show, not some talk show, some podcast. I don't know what this is. Is it on The Athletic? It seemed like it had branding that seemed like it was an. Hold on. All right, hold on. So here's Bill Burr. This is his take on the whole CEO thing. Made a bit of a buzz yesterday as people were like, I can't believe Bill Burr. Here we go. Bill Burr telling it like it is.
Saying like, how great would it be to see like, the head of Walmart gets whacked by the head of the Target guy, have a nice old fashioned war and just thin the herd and keep everybody honest. But the problem is those guys are all on the legal side of stealing. And all of those politicians, they give the politicians the heads up and then they turn around, they make all these money. Andrew, what the are you saying? Nancy Pelosi just made $9 million on some They're gangsters.
That's it. They're gangsters. There's a longer clip of that, but that's essentially the sentiment that, and it's an interesting sentiment, and it's one that I also subscribe to, that I don't give a fuck just because you got an Ivy League degree. If you're a Wall Street guy, you're a gangster. You guys are you're cheating in ways that you're able to get away with because you can afford the lawyers who can find the loopholes, who can make everything bendy for you. Meanwhile, the rest of us, we live in a world where if the shit breaks, it don't bend, it breaks. We go to jail. We get in trouble. So I can see it. I understand the attitude that a lot of these guys, especially those in the pharmaceutical sector, the healthcare sector, the people whose decisions in a sterile boardroom 80 stories above the Manhattan streets, the people whose decisions there mean that your 8-year-old daughter dies of leukemia, right? Or something like that's a very different thing than the guy who owns Goodyear. Right? The CEO of Goodyear, he makes tires. CEO of United Healthcare makes decisions that end people's lives or complicate people's lives or just fuck with people who are going through the worst thing that any of us could go through. So I do understand that whole sentiment. CEOs of healthcare companies are, in my mind, gangsters with the way that they oversee their empire. Well, Pugs, that's the system, though. That doesn't matter. They willingly choose to engage in the system. I wouldn't want that job. Oh, you wouldn't take $10 million to me? I would never get offered that. I'm sorry. I couldn't live or carry myself in a way that would ever put me in a position to be the guy they're tapping to rule the health. No, morally, I find that all very repugnant, okay? Brian Thompson didn't. Brian Thompson was perfectly comfortable with all of this stuff, and as long as all the money was being made and people were hitting bonuses and deny. That's how people feel about these people. So no internet sleuths are looking for him. One of America's most popular comedians is completely comfortable going on a podcast saying, yeah, people don't give a fuck about this guy. And he's right. We're kind of moving into a no bullshit era of America, I think. I think that we, for the past 10, 15 years, we've been experiencing a lot of bullshit. A lot of it has to do with what I talk about programming. A lot of us have just been going through, this is how it is because this is how it's always been. So it's just going to accept this bullshit. People aren't accepting bullshit anymore. I think this past election broke a lot of us. Well, we're just like, yeah, no fucking rules. That's the only no bullshit out there, that there are no rules, that if you can figure out a way to get away with something, you can get away with it. And just because somebody says it's bad, you tell them it's not bad, and then you have a shout fest. And one of you might win. Doesn't matter. There are no facts. There is no truth. Malaysian airplanes disappear now, apparently. Right? Used to think there's no way an airplane could disappear. They disappear. Everything that I thought. I didn't think you could nominate a guy who was convicted 37 crimes, but not only did he get the nomination, he's the president. So this is where we are. And good, let's go. Let's fucking go. No more bullshit. People fucking hate healthcare CEOs. That's why this guy is not eliciting any tears from the rank and file American citizenry. That's why. Sorry to his family. It's a really difficult place to be. Your dad had a job that a lot of people thought was a monstrous job. There you go. But hey, I'm sure that you're fucking set for life because he made $10 million for the last 10 years, and I'm sure he's got a crazy payout on death. So they got the guy. I am hoping that it's not a Patsy situation. I hope we hear from Luigi Mangione. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear what his defense is. I want to hear him verbalize all the things that we've been keeping quiet. I want to hear him say it. Yeah, I killed the motherfucker because here's why. Hey, people get killed all the time. My dad got killed. He was working at a gas station. My dad got killed. That was terrible. People die all the time. All right, let's keep going. What else do we have? Speaking of people die all the time, we got more breaking news here. The jury in the Daniel Penny case in New York, Manhattan, let's just put it this way. He's fine. He's free. Daniel Penny's no problem. As a matter of fact, not only is there no problems for Daniel Penny is about to become a rock star. Daniel Penny is a handsome Rittenberg or whatever that dude's name, Rittenhouse, Kyle Ritten, the fat, doughy, dumpy kid who's like a total dork by any estimation. He was made like a rock star celebrity by like the crazy weird people crowd, you know, the 15% on the right. Kyle Rittenhouse is now like doing speeches and making money and all that, but he's a dumpy, people don't want it. He looks, he doesn't look great. This Daniel Penny, oh my God, I want to manage him. We're booking the tour for Daniel Penny. He's going to go, he's going to tour, he's going to give speeches to, I don't know, what's that coffee company? Black Label Coffee. There's a whole Rogan existence that is going to make this Daniel Penny guy a rock star, and good for him. He's been through hell. Daniel Penny is, of course, the former Marine. That was just, they used that to sell it so that, he's a former Marine. You know what that means? That means he's good. That means he's good. Let me tell you something. I know a bunch of former Marines. Most of them are assholes. You're not fucking cool just because you're in the Marines, okay? You're basically an asshole, all right? Almost all of my friends who are in the military are assholes. They are. That's just what the military does to you. So let's stop pretending like Daniel Penny's a fucking saint because he was in the military. He was a Marine. Cool. When we have a war, I'm going to support you. But just because you're a Marine doesn't mean that you need to be somehow sainted. All right? Marines can be assholes. But that's not the thing. He wasn't an asshole. I think that he was doing a bit of a white knight routine, which bothers me, But I want people to get involved. I get mad whenever I see these viral videos where something is happening where there's a woman being dominated by a guy. And I always like to say, where are the men? Where are the men to just go stand next to that woman so that she doesn't feel so completely alone in the presence of this obvious crazy man? So I want people to get involved. And Jordan Neely was having an incident. He was having a mental breakdown. Did he need to die? I don't know. It's all a domino effect from this terrible thing of him being mentally unstable and not getting help. He was in people's faces, Jordan Neely. He was a street performer. He was the Michael Jackson guy, and apparently he was having a bad day, and he was in people's faces, and he was screaming and screaming, and Daniel Penny walks up behind him, puts him in a chokehold, tries to put him down in an MMA move. Backfires horribly. The dude ends up dead. Is Daniel Penny a murderer who needs to go to prison because, God forbid, he starts doing this to everyone he sees? No. This is a situation. This is a person, he got involved. And ultimately, like I say, I want people to become more involved. I want people to stand up. I want people to stop minding their own business, and when they see something wrong, saying something. Because when you don't say something, it normalizes the wrongness. And now someone's like, well, I saw someone do that once before. Now I'm going to don't fucking allow that to happen. So I applaud Daniel Penny and the motivation, even though I do think it was a bit of a white knight. By white knight, I mean, I think he saw an opportunity to be a hero, and he, leaned into it. I want to be a hero. Didn't expect the dude to die. It was a tragic circumstance of his own white knight ego. But bottom line, am I glad that he is not going to be doing any jail time and he was acquitted? Yes, I am. No one would have been served by sending that dude to prison. And besides, now he's going to make a lot of money. The Daniel Penny podcast is going to be huge. He's going to go on a speaking tour. He's going to do books. He's probably already got a book deal. Daniel Penny. My life, whatever. I don't know. I had nothing funny to say there. I rarely do. Daniel Penny, on Friday, the jury came back with a note to the judge saying that, hey, man, there's two charges here. The first charge that you're making us look at, before we can even address the second charge, this first charge, we can't do anything with it. There's nothing. We don't know. We're hung. So the judge threw that one out. The judge said, all right, first charge is gone. Let's just address the second charge. That's what they deliberated on, and that's what they returned today. Second charge, not guilty of criminally negligent homicide. First charge was thrown out. Daniel Penny, walking the streets. Get involved. Just don't kill anybody. See, it's complicated. It's complicated. I advocate for people getting involved in public. Get involved. Stand up. Defend people. Okay? Someone is acting fucking nuts on somebody. Think how scared that person is. I mean, just be a good citizen. Don't be a fucking pussy. Frank Smith, Daniel Penny on X. Can't wait. Yeah, he's going to be big on X. Not so much Blue Sky. Yeah. Blue Sky is where we go when we don't. My Blue Sky is perfect. My Blue Sky has no nonsense. There's no politics. There's no nothing. Now, That's what I said about Threads too. Remember Threads? I was all into Threads for a couple of months, but I completely lost interest in Threads and then ended up back with Twitter. But Blue Sky, and I'm starting to like Blue Sky. Arguing with people about pizza on Blue Sky is so much nicer. Porn too. Like this morning, I wake up and I go to Twitter, and the very first thing on my Twitter is some viral video of two dirtbags fucking on a picnic table at a rest stop. I'm like, this is Twitter. Nothing sums up Twitter more than this being the first goddamn thing I see today. Bunch of dirtbags on Twitter. Seriously, it's like a bad part of town. It's like the white trash part of town now, where you're just like, ugh. God, these people have no shame, no class, no self-dignity, nothing. And it's all the for me stuff. Like, it's all like what Twitter thinks I'm interested in. Hey, want to watch two dirtbags fuck on a picnic table? No, I don't want to watch that. But thanks, Twitter. Thanks for thinking that's what I am. Well, that's what everybody else here wants. Yeah, I know. That's the problem, Twitter. And yeah, I'm still calling you Twitter. All right, let's keep going. What else do we have here? We talked about Daniel Penny. We did the CEO stuff. We mentioned Syria. We feel like we should probably talk about Syria. Over the weekend, we had a major global disruption to the way things are. President Assad, the House of Assad, ladies and gentlemen, has fallen after 50 years almost. I think the House of Assad rose there in Syria in the 1970s, the early 70s. The original dad. And then this is the idiot son. I don't know if you know this. Assad is the idiot son. Bashir Assad is the idiot son. There was an older brother who was the heir apparent, and the older brother's entire life was, you're going to be the president of Syria. And Bashir Assad, he was the second son. He was the spare. You know, they say the heir and the spare. So he was like educated all over the world. He was into art. Like, he played in a band in college. Like Bashir, like, he's very westernized. And then like at like 20 something years old, the heir, his brother, died in a car accident. Like, out of nowhere, the heir apparent to Syria dies in a car accident. So then they have to recall the idiot brother, Bashir Assad. And Bashir Assad, he ends up back in Syria, and dad's like, okay, you're up, kid. And he's like, but I haven't been trained for this. Anyway, he took the reins in 2000, I think, somewhere maybe earlier than that. I don't know, whatever. He had a hot wife. He had a hot Western-looking wife. Not like, you know, you'd think in Syria. The Assad family, they were pretty secular. They weren't really crazy Islamists. They wore suits. And, you know, the first lady had a breast implant. She was hot. I don't know if you've ever seen Bashir Assad's wife. She's hot. So anyway, he was in charge of everything for a whole bunch of time. And then, as is the case in the Middle East, there were all kinds of pockets of rebels and insurgent groups, some aligned with everything from Hezbollah to Hamas to Al-Qaeda to ISIL, all of it. If it was a thing that was happening and causing problems in the Middle East in the past 20 years, they had a base of operation in Syria under Assad. Assad is also one of the primary supporters of Hamas and Hezbollah, for that matter, in the region. You know, he's one of these unstable guys. So there's been a civil war in Syria off and on for about 15 years now, a couple of years back, about 10 years now. That's when they had the most serious issues, when the global community got involved, because Assad was kind of getting his ass kicked, and he used chemical weapons on his people. And we all know what happens when, you know, a ruler uses chemical weapons, and suddenly it becomes the whole thing. He's a monster. He's a madman. And he is. He's a monster. Don't get it wrong. Assad's a bad guy. And he used chemical weapons against his people. So the Syrian civil war at that point received a big boost from Russia. Russia came in. Iran was also backing Syria and Assad. And they basically quieted the revolution. They quieted the civil war. Well, last couple of weeks, it's popped back up again. And they've made some of the biggest gains ever. Look, that's an understatement. The biggest gains ever. They, within like a week, covered 100 miles and just went straight into, well, they were in Basra. They were in, where else were they? All of the great cities of Syria that we hear about. When I say great cities, what I mean is something terrible happens and you're like, oh, that's in Syria. So anyway, Damascus is like the big prize. That's the capital. They took Damascus over the weekend. They take Damascus. The rebels are in control of the capital. And Bashir Assad is missing, or at least was missing. We know where he is now. They thought they shot his plane down. He left the country. Where is he? He's in Moscow. He's hanging out with Putin. See, Putin couldn't have his back this time because Putin's bogged down in his own war in the Ukraine. So whatever's going to happen in Syria is going to happen. But hey, another one of these dictators falls. We'll see what we get next. What we get next is troubling. Well, there's nothing good. The options aren't good. I mean, even like the most pro-Western people that we could put in charge as a puppet state are still probably going to devolve into a dictatorship where you get just another version of what the Assad regime was. But I don't know. Hey, look, anything that stops that country from working with Iran and Russia, we should be for. And Bashir Assad is now in Russia, and who knows? I don't know. Will they send him back? Or is this one of them deals like Mussolini? Like when Mussolini was whisked out of Italy and taken to Germany, Mussolini thought that he was being called to Germany because Hitler was going to be like, let's get an army and take your throne back or whatever. Yeah, that wasn't the case at all. So I don't know, what does Assad think? Does Assad think that he's like going to get set up in Moscow now and that Putin's going to like have his back and then suddenly he's going to ride back into Damascus at the head of this incredible Russian-backed war machine? That ain't going to happen. Russia can't help you right now. Russia, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news. So who knows? Maybe Putin, here's what Putin should do. Putin's got Bashir Assad. Putin's going to have a lot of things he's going to need to deal with. I don't know what's happening with Ukraine, and it's getting bad. But this is another bargaining chip. The whole world is pretty angry at Putin. Putin's now got a bargaining chip. He's got Bashir Assad. He could turn him over to the world court. I mean, if Putin if he's making deals with shit, that's all I'm saying. Putin himself is wanted by the world court, so maybe he ain't going to turn him over to the world court. I don't know. It is interesting what's happening in Syria because I don't know. I don't even know where Syria is. Do you think you could find Syria on a map? Like if they just gave you a map of the Middle East with no countries, I could get Israel, I could get Egypt. That's it. I don't know if I could the whole okay, so I could get Afghanistan and Pakistan because I know that they're up in the mountain regions, and I'm guessing that the map would show where the mountains come in. But it's Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Syria. I have no idea. Lebanon. I guess Lebanon. If I know where Israel is, I could probably find Lebanon. I don't know. All right, let's keep going. What else do we have here? Talked about Syria. We talked about Daniel Penny. Let's talk about Jay-Z. Jay-Z is in the news. Jay-Z getting himself name checked in some very, very bad ways. Jay-Z is apparently being sued in civil court, which me, civil court's bullshit. I love it. Some of you people, I'm thinking of some very specific people. Some of you people who recently when I was defending somebody who was being accused of something, I was like, it's civil court. I don't know. Some of you people who agreed with me then, you're not going to agree with me anymore because I feel the same way about this. This is nonsense. This is civil court. Bring criminal charges if you've got anything. Right? And if you're one of those people that are okay when I say that on other things, but now for some reason, because you won't get Jay-Z, you're willing to be like, no, it should be allowed. Nah, this is bullshit. They're dragging this man's name. Find me some actual criminal shit. And then, but this is anybody, a rich guy, any woman can bring charges against a rich guy for anything. Anything. Doesn't have to be true. They're banking on the fact that this is going to be embarrassing. See, that's the first thing. The lawyer calls and says, this is going to be embarrassing. We're going to make it public, or you can write us a check. That's it. That's what they do. Again, criminal. The civil cases following a criminal conviction, yeah, I'm all for it. That's fine. Now take their money. But the civil case, before the police are even acknowledging that something illegal happened, is bullshit. It's nonsense. Who is the mystery female celebrity? See, Jay-Z is being accused of raping a 13-year-old girl with Diddy. And apparently there was a mystery celebrity female who was there watching. I mean, they're trying hard not to say Jennifer Lopez, but we're all like, it's Jennifer Lopez. Every scenario where these people are met, it's Jennifer Lopez, without a doubt. Jennifer Lopez was attached to Diddy's hip at this period of time. It's Jennifer Lopez. She's a monster. Just ask Ben Affleck. He tried twice with her. He's like, no, she's still bad. Okay, so who is the mystery female celebrity? Lawsuit accuses rapper Jay-Z of raping girl 13 with Diddy. Also describes third unnamed star, female, who watched. Hot. Ugh. What the? These people are absolute monsters. Rape a 13-year-old girl. So we're believing, I don't know if I believe they're all assholes. Don't get me wrong. They're not normal people. Couldn't be stuck in a long car ride with me and Jay-Z in the backseat. That would be a pain in the ass because he'd control the music. He'd decide if the windows are. See, that's an asshole. That's how these people live their lives. They're just jerk-offs. But I don't know, man. This is kind of without any. This sounds like the police should be involved. Let's keep reading. A female celebrity has been listed in the latest Diddy lawsuit that accused him and Jay-Z of raping a 13-year-old at a VMA after party in 2000, 24 years ago. The as yet unnamed star was described as watching as Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and Diddy, whose real name is Sean Combs, raped her after she had supposedly drinking a spiked drink. 13-year-old drinks a spiked drink. She feels woozy. They bring her back into a bedroom, and it's Jay-Z, P. Diddy, and they're not saying Jennifer Lopez's name, but that would be my guess. The as yet unnamed star was described as watching on as Jay-Z, whose real name is Letta. The lawsuit originally filed in New York's Southern District this past October against Combs was refiled on Sunday, naming Jay-Z as another defendant. Okay, so she already went after the Diddy thing, and I don't know. Okay, so now she's naming him. So now she's introduced that Jay-Z was also there. The suit alleges that the then teenager, an Alabama resident who is called Jane Doe in documents, took a drink at a VMA after party in September 2000 that had a reddish yellow mixture and tasted like orange juice, cranberry juice, and something bitter. She began to feel woozy and lightheaded and needed to lie down. Okay, that sounds like a horrifying situation. They're telling us how old she is. She's a 13-year-old. Imagine how scared this 13-year-old must have been. First question that I want to know. She's 13. What is she doing drinking booze at a VMA after party? Okay, right there. Let's begin right there. Let's begin before whatever tragic thing happens to her. What is a 13-year-old doing at a VMA after party? What is this about? There's not 1,000 other adults who were like, that's a 13-year-old. She shouldn't be here. And what they all just went, okay, it's P. Diddy or whatever. See, that's the first problem. When I say shit like we got to get involved. You're telling me there's not some dude making minimum wage working the fucking rope line who went, that's a 13-year-old that they're plying with alcohol and didn't think to say anything to anybody? Why? Because he likes his job? Man, it's cool. I get to work all the Jay-Z parties. You're all monsters. You're all absolute monsters. A 13-year-old was at a VMA party. I mean, we bury that. That's just like, well, she was 13 and she was at a VMA party and they offered her a drink. How did she get in? Who was she with? Who saw her? Who didn't say, hey, that's a 13-year-old. Maybe they shouldn't be here partying at 2 a.m. in Manhattan with Kid Rock and Eminem in the year 2000. What the fuck? I mean, let's exist in a universe where all this happened as is being said. This girl was set up to be a victim long before she met Diddy and Jay-Z. She's 13 years old. She's in Manhattan. She's from Alabama. How did she get from Alabama to Manhattan? How did she get from Alabama to an after party at the 2000 Video Music Awards in Manhattan. So let's go there. Let's figure out everything that went. This is disgusting. I mean, seriously, I think it's disgusting, all of these charges about children and, you know, these pop stars and their sordid, decadent sexual peccadillos and all that stuff. But then to just have it like you don't want to believe that the 12. But now we read this story where apparently it's being documented and nobody's pushing back on that. There's a 13-year-old partying with these guys at the. So what the fuck, man? You just gotta believe everything. You gotta believe it all. No matter how awful it is to think that Jay-Z and Sean P. Diddy and who else knows was out there just serially sexually abusing children for decades. It's not that far a leap. 13-year-old hanging out, partying with a 13-year-old. Who the fuck wants to party with a 13-year-old? They suck. I know, I got a 15. He was 13 a couple of years ago. He sucked at 13. Combs aggressively approached the plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes. He grabbed her and he said, "Baby, are you ready to party?" The accuser said in the lawsuit that Combs threw her towards a wall, leading her to fall, then grabbed her again and threw her on the bed. She went on to claim that Jay-Z began stripping her down as she grew more and more disoriented and held her down as he vaginally raped her, while Combs and Celebrity B, Jennifer Lopez, watched. After Jay-Z finished, he stepped back towards the wall. Combs then stepped forward and vaginally raped the plaintiff while Carter and Celebrity B, Jennifer Lopez, watched, the suit says. I wonder if they tagged in. They like, oh, this is, I mean, so much. Look, there's like a part of me that goes, she's just looking to get money. But then there's another part of me that goes, wait, she was 13 and she was at that doesn't seem to be, they seem to be solid with that. She was 13 partying with these. So you know what? Fuck you, Jay-Z. Fuck you, Diddy. If you're going to set yourself up in these situations where you're partying with 13-year-olds, you did it. Look at me. I've changed my whole mind on this thing. I've changed my whole mind. Let's get him. Let's get Jay-Z. Were you partying with a 13-year-old? And by the way, the other thing, it's not the first time. Like, it's never just one. Oh, but one time I party with a 13-year-old. No. Probably happened a lot. Who are these 13-year-olds? Coolest chicks in 8th grade. I'm telling you, they go back to their home. They're the coolest chicks in 8th grade. They are. She was partying with Jay-Z. All right. So these stories, they won't stop. It is kind of satisfying, though, when you look. I've spent a lot of years biting my tongue about the way Jay-Z and Beyonce carry themselves in this world. Who the fuck made them royalty? Like, they carry themselves like they're above it all. Jay-Z's a former drug dealer and a gang member. Well, don't act like you're, a member of the Plantagenet family. Well, so, maybe if it all crashes in on them and we see that it's all just maybe I'm okay with that. Especially if you're just openly partying with 13-year-olds. I need a list of people who were at the VMAs in 2000, and we need to one by one call these people and say, did you party with a 13-year-old? That's insane. Jay-Z, for his part, is denying the allegations that he raped a teenager in 2000. And he says that it's really hard because I've got a 13-year-old daughter. It's really hard. You were partying with a 13-year-old. Nobody is denying that. There was a 13-year-old at the 2000 VMAs. Guilty. Just for that. Now I'm looking at all these pictures. There's all kinds of pictures from back then of Jay-Z and P. Diddy hanging out. All right, let's move on. Here's a fun story. This comes to us out of the state of Washington. This is a story about they're calling her a hot Washington state rep or something. Let's see if we get a picture of her. She was basically she had like a man boy. There she is. All right, let's get a look at her. Emily Klaus Yeah, all right, Emily. She's kind of hot. I kind of like Emily Clouts. Here she is. All right, just so you get a look at her. All right, that's going to be her. Yep. All right, so that's, let's see what we can find out about her. As we said, her name is Emily Clouts. She is a state rep in Washington. Hold on. Just going to make sure at any minute, I'm not on the screen, so I can't see the picture that I put up, but I'm just expecting there to be some big, stupid pop-up in a second. It says here, a glamorous Washington state lawmaker. Glamorous? That's not glamorous. Why? Because her hair? That's not glamorous. That's like stripper hair. She's got like stripper hair. Okay, it's a nice cut. She's not glamorous though. She's hot. She's bangable. She's a bangable, kind of hot Washington state. I don't know, whatever she is. Anyway, here's the story. It says here, a glamorous Washington state lawmaker bullied her male aide into sex, then made him run errands and tried to fire him when he reported her. This is according to a new lawsuit. Emily Klaus, 30, is said to have begun a mutually consensual dating relationship with the unnamed man after being elected as a commissioner in Thurston County, which includes the state capital of Olympia. But the aide alleges he felt unable to reject Klaus's advances because of the power she held over him and says he found the romance increasingly unwelcome. He says it was clear to the plaintiff, that's him. It was clear to the plaintiff, however, that if the plaintiff wanted to remain employed, he would need to continue his personal, intimate relationship of a sexual nature with Commissioner Klaus. Klaus is said to have exploited the man into driving her around, buying her food and drinks, and loaning her cash, which he says she never repaid. This according to the Spokane Spokesman Review. Yeah, she's hot, man. She's a hot bitch. She's a hot bitch who had a job and you were like her sexy little aide, right? And she's like, she's looking at the Lorraine Boeberts. She's looking at the Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's like a boss bitch with an elected position. So she's, kind of being bitchy about it. But I mean, could be worse. Could be a lot worse, man. She could be not hot. And the more I look at her, I'm thinking she's kind of hot. See, this is the difference. This is why there is absolutely a double standard between a man and a woman. If this was a man doing this to a female aide, I would say that man needs to lose his job. And that female aide, this is like a dude. This is happening to a guy. This is like, I'm sorry, this is not a problem. This is not a problem for a guy. You got to keep having sex with the hot girl. And it's your job. Oh, yeah, and she's a bitch. What's the problem? Most people think their bosses are bitches anyway. Like, it's just making me do errands. Is it you that's confused, boy toy? Are you the one that's confused? Do you think you're her boyfriend? You're not. You're just a dick stick. That's all. She's just using you because she's obviously a driven woman. She's 30 years old and she's got a fairly prestigious job there in the state of Washington. She probably doesn't hang out in bars a lot, but is horny. So you're like the boy toy. So that's it. You guys do your work. And then when she wants sex, she demands it from you and you have to give it to her or you're fired. Do I feel sorry for you? No. Look at her. Look at her. She's fine. You shouldn't. She's not gross. This isn't. Oh, Pugs. Oh, it's double standard. Damn right it's a double standard. The sexual. How do we say this? The sexual dynamic between men and women are not the same. They absolutely are a double standard. Women are not. If a man. Both people have urges to have sex, right? So if one of them really wants sex, they can just take sex if they want it. That's men. That's men because they're physically larger, okay? They're stronger. That's just how it is. So in any kind of residual situation where it's a man who has the power and he is demanding sex, it's unbalanced, it's unfair, and yes, the woman who has to give up the sex now because she's feeling scared, that's different than the dude. The dude's like, what? I gotta have sex with you? And you're cute? This is not a problem. This guy's a bitch. The aide says other Thurston County officials tried to suppress his claims. Yeah, because she's hot and probably cool. They're like, nah, she's cool. That guy's a dork. They probably fell on like some nerdy clerk's desk, some dude who like sees her around and knows that she's hot. And so it ended up on his desk and he's like, you mean that she's making him have sex? And so, people don't care. Other guys don't care. He's not a victim. The aide says other Thurston County officials tried to suppress the claims. They allegedly asked him what amount of money would it take to make his claims go away. Oh, man. The aide says, he was put on administrative leave, which the aide says gave him the impression of being guilty of wrongdoing. And this is so stupid. This is so dumb. She's hot. Look at her. She's got a nose ring. Did you notice that? Did you notice she's got a nose ring? That's hot. All right, whatever. Please. My hot boss is making me have sex with her. Now, look, if you're in a committed relationship, you don't want to have sex. That's one thing. It doesn't sound like this guy didn't want to have sex. It sounds like he just didn't like doing the errands, right? That's what he's complaining about. She made me drive her around. What about the sex? Yeah, no, the sex was great, man. You see her? She's hot. But she makes me drive her around and get her coffee, and that sucks. Yeah, that's your job, boy toy. Yeah, you got it totally confused. Nina says maybe he's gay. Yeah, you would almost have to be. I mean, yeah, that was my first thing. Maybe he's gay. But then you would say that. So he's uncomfortable with who he is, maybe. You'd have to say that. You have to be like, look, I'm gay. This was like not. I would have more sympathy for him if he was gay. If he's like, I'm a gay guy and she's making me do this because now it's different. Now I just can't apply the, normal hetero guy. Probably be happy to have sex with her. But if he was gay, that would change everything. I'd be on his side. I'd be on his side if he was gay because now it is a problem for him. I don't see it as a problem for him. Speaking of other people who are having problems, you know this guy, Nick Fuentes? Nick, he's like one of these right-wing guys. He's one of these white power dudes who's Mexican. He's like, he doesn't know he's not white, but he's just out there. He's like, hey, I'm Nick Fuentes, white power. He's like, and he lives in the western suburbs of Chicago. Lyons Township kid, a rich kid. He's like a rich kid. And he's like, for the people, whatever. So Nick Fuentes is in the news. Apparently he got arrested. People, the crazy lefties looking for trouble, looking to like poke the bee's nest, and he would be the bee's nest. They gave out his like address online. And so people have been going to Nick Fuentes' house. Here, this guy right here. Get you a look at him. People have been going to Nick Fuentes' house and fucking with him, like on the sidewalk, like, hey, fuck stick, what's up, Nazi? And, it's kind of rough, but, he's kind of a D-bag, so whatever, I'm all for it. That's fine. Apparently, he's been arrested because somebody knocked on his door and he swung the door open and sprayed some kind of like mace or something at him. I don't know. Let's see what this story is. And let's see if we got video of that, because I did see there was some video out there. Let's see here. What is he being charged? What's the deal? Nick Fuentes, the notorious far-right racist anti-Semite, has been charged with battery for a confrontation outside his Illinois home with a woman who said she was maced and shoved to the ground by the scrawny white supremacist. Man, the smoking gun certainly making their feelings about Nick Fuentes, the Mexican white supremacist. After Fuentes walked into the station's lobby on November 27th, he was escorted to a booking. Okay, so he turned himself in. The battery charge against Fuentes stems from a November 10th incident outside his home. Let's see here. Marla Rose, 57-year-old Berwyn resident, which is like the next town over. I think he's in Oak Park, if you're familiar with the Chicago area. I think he's in Oak Park. Berwyn is like the next town over. It says, so 57-year-old Berwyn lady finds Nick Fuentes' address online. She goes over to his house to fuck with him the way people have been fucking with him. Marla Rose, 57, Berwyn resident, told cops that after seeing an online Fuentes post in regard to women's rights that declared, "Your body, my choice," she decided to record a video of Fuentes' Berwyn property. Oh, I guess he's in Berwyn. While recording, Rose said, a female passerby encouraged her to speak with Nicholas, so she rang his front doorbell. Okay, so here's the thing. So Nick Fuentes, I guess, put a video out where he was like, women, you all suck, because he's weird like that. He's definitely, there's a lot going on there. Don't want to spend too much time trying to break him down, but there's a lot going on there. So she saw him say, my body, your body, my choice, whatever. And she was incensed. And she's like, oh, he lives around my neighborhood. So she gets in her car. She goes down to poke the bee's nest. She's going to film it. She's going to make her own video. I'm a 57-year-old Karen, and I'm out in front of Nick Fuentes' house. So she does that. And then apparently the video wasn't all that she wanted. So she went up and she knocked on the door. And then we got this here. I think this is... There's a picture. We got a frame of it. There he is. Look at him. He opens the door and he just starts spraying her with the stuff. So there you go. Whatever. More nonsense. Idiots. You got to love it when the crazy, the 15% that's gone on the right and the crazy 15 on the left that's gone. You got to love it when they come together like that. How beautiful. All right, what else do we have here? Let's see. What else? Nick Fuentes. The Surgeon, Trump's Surgeon General pick. This is an absolutely, I just can't tell you how disgusting of a story this is. So Trump's got this lady, he's naming her Surgeon General, right? He's going to be Trump's pick for Surgeon General. So they're like going through her life, and they just found like this incredibly tragic thing from her life, and they're packaging it as a screaming headline that, one, totally misrepresents the tragedy, and two, accuses her of killing her father. Okay, so the new Surgeon General, I don't have a hot take on Trump's pick for Surgeon General. I don't know shit about, right? She seems like a nice woman. So his choice for Surgeon General was inspired, and she wrote about this in a book, her own book. She was inspired to go into medicine after a tragic incident with her father. Apparently, when she was young, her father, look, I'm going to give you this story. Trump, here's the headline, though, and this is why journalism is so ugly. And I don't blame the journalists. I blame you. I blame us. They're ugly because this is what we want. What makes us click on something? They know what triggers us. This is so ugly. Trump's pick for Surgeon General caused tragic gun accident as a child that left dad dead. What a fucking bullshit way to frame this. Trump's pick for Surgeon General caused tragic gun accident that left her dad dead. That's the New York Post. Well, we know that they're garbage. We know that the Post is absolute garbage. President-elect Donald Trump's Surgeon General nominee caused a gun accident when she was 13 years old that left her dad dead. A tragedy which inspired her to pursue a career in medicine. That's how she tells it. Yeah, it was a terrible tragedy with my dad, and it made me want to help people. It made me want to be able to save people. That's beautiful. But the New York Post, they were, yeah, she's complicit in the murder of her dad. Murder or accident? Jeanette Newswaite was searching for a pair of scissors that were in a tackle box on a shelf above the bed where her father slept in their home. This was February of 1990, according to reports from the New York Times. By the way, she's hot. She's really hot. Of course she is. You think Trump's going to put an ugly doctor in there? No. She's probably not qualified. She's just hot. She's probably just a doctor in Florida who gave money to Trump. And now he's like, let's make the hot one Surgeon General. She's like 35. I mean, I want my Surgeon General, with all due respect, to be a guy who's done 40 years of surgery and is now like retired. See Everett Koop, that guy. Not some hot chick here. You got to see this chick. Seriously, she's hot. But she didn't kill her dad, okay? I'm going to defend her on this. This is not a fair story for her. Look at her. Tell me that is total Trumpy. That is what every Trump woman looks like. And it ain't bad. They all look good, but they all look the same. All right, so there she is. All right, so you're getting what's happening here. So here, we'll get rid of that. So she was looking for scissors, and they were on a shelf above the bed where her dad was sleeping. And all right, here we go. She accidentally knocked it over. Actually, we'll get to the beginning. Oh, God. What a sad story. Jeanette Newswhite was searching for a pair of scissors that were in a tackle box on a shelf above the bed where her father slept in their Umalashia, Florida home in February of 1990. She accidentally knocked it over, and a 38 caliber handgun fell out of the container and discharged, striking her sleeping father in the head. She says, "I saw blood on my father's ear," a young Neshwaite told police at the time. Let's see. Ben Neshwaite was declared dead the following day at an Orlando hospital in what was ruled an accidental shooting. In 2017, her memoir, Beyond the Stethoscope, she recounts how Okay, so that story is an absolutely horrific story, a terrible accident, an obvious accident for this woman, this little girl. She's 13 years old. Jesus, 13. She was 13 in 1990. Now she's going to be Surgeon General. She ain't qualified. Whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's all a construct. Nobody is actually qualified. It's all just who we pretend is qualified. All right. So, but she's hot. I'll give her that. Terrible. 13 years old. Reaching for some, but the New York Post, she caused her dad's. Come on, man, leave her alone. That is terrible. That is a terrible example of humans being awful. All right, let's keep going. So the Surgeon General didn't kill her dad. There was an accident involving a home. I think they maybe should have adhered to more responsible gun in the home practices, right? But that's a different conversation, and we don't need to have that now. Be a gun safe. Maybe you're not having a loaded gun in a tackle box. Just fucking people. It's Florida. What are you going to do? It's Florida. Responsible gun owners. None of you all are responsible. I know like 5 responsible gun owners. Everybody else, they like to say they're responsible gun owners, but when was the last time you used that gun safe? You don't use the gun safe, do you? Because you keep the gun under the bed because you want to be a big man. Because you're really afraid that someone's going to kick your door in the middle of the night. Even though you're 60-something years old, you've been going to bed every night for the last 60 years. That ain't never fucking happened, but you're ready. You're ready. All it takes is once. Yeah, I guess you're right. All it does. But I really don't think I need to worry about it. No one's going to kick my door in the middle of the night. And you know what? If I get targeted by a serial killer, whatever, man. Whatever. That's just randomness. I could be walking down the street and get hit by an asteroid. Although we covered this earlier in the show. No one in the history of humanity has ever been killed by an asteroid. And like thousands of them hit the earth every day. Every day. That can't be right. Yeah, it is right. Look it up. What's this? Laura Trump is stepping down as chair of the Republican National Party, the RNC, National Committee. She's gonna run. She's gonna be a senator. She's gonna run for Marco Rubio's seat. So 2 years ago she was trying to be a pop star, but hey, man, any port in a storm. Laura Trump's hot too. Well, what do you think? The Trump family gonna marry ugly woman? She's really hot though. She does so. I look at her and I'm like, I like that Laura Trump. I mean, not like her. I mean, I think she's probably an awful human being, but I mean, she's hot. That'll work. That's all I'm saying. All right, should we get into the drones? We got more drones going on in New Jersey. So we've been covering this I feel like I've been following this story for weeks, but honestly, we've only been talking about it on the air for the last week or so. Whole bunch of drones in New Jersey, flying over, well, first of all, the Pine Barrens. If you're familiar with the Pine Barrens region of New Jersey, there's a whole bunch of sightings happening there. Pine Barrens is, of course, the greatest episode of The Sopranos ever. Sopranos, Pine Barrens episode, maybe best episode of television ever, maybe. But also Bedminster, where Trump's golf course is. The drones are seen there. And also they're saying like now local authorities in New Jersey are like, yeah, and they're hovering over electrical plants and water pumping stations. And what is going on? They're not even hiding. Every night, people are just like, well, come on, let's go to the backyard. It's time for the drones. And like all these drones are showing up and people are like, what are they? And the police are going, I don't know what they are. What do you think they are? And the FAA is going, we don't know what they are. What do you think they are? And every day they fucking show up. At what point do we just start shooting these motherfucking things down? What is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. There's something going on. There is something going on, and they're just not telling us. But whoever the local authorities are, they're being told to stand down. They're not doing anything. They're being told by somebody up high, just leave it alone. Don't worry about it. It'll go away in a couple of weeks. You won't have to worry about it. These drones are said to be the size of cars. One of them crashed over the weekends. Here, do we have over the weekends? Where do we have this? Oh my God. Seriously? Well, let's see here. Do we have any? Over the weekend on Saturday, they think that one of these drones may have crashed. Did mystery drone crash in New Jersey? What we know. A series of mysterious drones have been spotted in New Jersey in recent weeks, and an unverified video posted on social media allegedly shows the aftermath of a drone crash. The FBI and the local police are investigating the drone sightings, which have been reported nightly in several New Jersey counties since November 18th. Nightly! This isn't like a weird... And by the way, let's also make the distinction. These are drones. These are not UFOs. These are space aliens from outer space. So stop it. These are drones. They know what they are. They're drones. They're unauthorized drones. They're the size of automobiles, and they're flying 10 to a formation. Somebody needs to give some answers to the people. What is going on here? This is bizarre. The FBI and local police are investigating the drone sightings, which have been reported nightly in several counties since the 18th of November, with the exception of Thanksgiving Day. See? Very interesting. No drones flew on Thanksgiving. The drone pilots were at Thanksgiving, so we know that they're people. What is going on here? What is this? Recent video filmed. Okay, so here we go. Let's pull this up. This is from over the weekend. Somebody says this is a drone that crashed, fell out of the sky in New Jersey. Still don't know if this is real or not, but okay, let's just look at it. Here we go. This is from Saturday. Roadside fire, believed to be a crashed drone Saturday night. A lot of smoke and fire on the highway, and out in the distance we see all these lights going off. And there's some smoke over here. Oh, right. Yes, YouTube magic right there. The field's on fire. There was like a craft that crashed out of the sky. It was crazy. I don't know what. Okay. I don't know what's going on. It's crazy. It's just like, he's very composed for a dude that may have just seen a UFO crash in front of him, or at the very least, a plane crash or something. I mean, he seems very right. He's like, yeah, look at this. YouTube magic. Someone's burning alive in there. He doesn't really seem to care all that much. Anyway, they were trying to figure out, was that or was that not a drone? One of the drones. They're saying that it is. Let's find out a little bit more about that particular incident. It's not clear who originally posted the video, but it has been reshared across YouTube, TikTok, and X. Newsweek contacted the Pine Barren Beach Police Department, where the incident is reported to have happened, and the New Jersey State Police for comment. While authorities have acknowledged the drone's recent presence, there has been no official confirmation that this is a crash. So they haven't gotten back to him. They're like, yeah, that happened. We ain't saying anything. Something is going on. What is going on here? Is it military? What? Some social media accounts also shared a Facebook post by the satirical site Jersey Coast Emergency News. Satirical site, just a warning, which said state police were searching for a drone that had crashed in the Pine Barrens. The site describes itself as New Jersey's #1 source for news, laughs, and okay, I don't fucking care about that stuff. Drones have reportedly been spotted above the Picatinny Arsenal, a military research and manufacturing facility in Rockaway, and President-elect Donald Trump's golf course in Bedminster. The brightly lit and low-flying drones have been described by eyewitnesses to be significantly larger than those flown by hobbyists. Joseph Orlando, the chief of the Florham Park Police Department. So here's a police chief in Morris County, New Jersey. He said in a statement on Wednesday that drones had been spotted above critical infrastructure such as water reserves, electric transmission lines, police departments, and military installations. While we currently have no evidence or information to indicate these drones pose an imminent threat at this time, their presence appears nefarious in nature, he wrote. The chief of police in Morristown is going, yeah, nobody's telling me anything about these things, but they seem to be nefarious. They seem to be, this is, now, I don't know, look, he might be an idiot cop, right? There's a lot of idiot cops out there, dumb guys who just run their mouth because they want to seem interesting. I don't know, it seems nefarious. If you were a cop who was trying to maintain some kind of calm and order, you might not want to say that. You might not want to say, I don't know, man. I don't know what they are, but they seem like they're fucking with us and they're mad. That's basically what he said when he described their actions as seeming nefarious. Woo! That's a cop saying that. Probably a dumb cop. Let's see here. Yeah, that's it. So I don't know. So they'll be back out tonight. So I'm sure we'll get more drones tonight. And we'll all just act like this is totally okay. Totally normal. The size of dune buggies. One of them said it's the size of a dune buggy up there. And the cops are standing around going, yep, there they are. When are we going to start shooting at them? Well, you can't helicopters? What? Don't we have drones? Can't we do like a drone battle? Can't we chase them down? I don't know. I don't know how this shit works, but it's weird. It's a very weird story. Let's see here. Oh, Merriam-Webster has published their word of the year. Every year, a word is made the word of the year. And by the way, there's been like 10 words of the year already. I've avoided this every couple of days. It's like this dictionary says this is the word of the year. And then a day later, this dictionary says this is the word of the year. All right, stop it. Merriam-Webster's is the only dictionary that we recognize, okay? It's the only real dictionary. And their word of the year for 2024 is polarization. 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 How exciting. All right, what else do we have to get into? Let's see. The Eras Tour. Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour came to an end up there in Canada. She was in Canada last night. Calgary, Vancouver. I don't know, wherever it was. I don't care. I'm not really following Taylor Swift all that close. Hey, did our picture change? Did our flag change in the background? Yeah, it looks like it did. Now it looks like a sparkly one. Okay, let's see here. What are we talking about? Eras Tour. Man, she's been on tour with this Eras Tour, Taylor Swift we're talking about, since we all got let out. Remember the pandemic? And then they were like, you guys can go out. And then she launched the tour like 2.5 years ago at this point. And it's really interesting what she did. And look, I know, right, we're supposed to be programmed. Nothing she does is interesting. She's the worst. Shut up. She's a pretty spectacular woman, if you ask me. What she did here is really interesting. She launched this tour with no end date. When you launch a tour, you have the tour and you have it all planned out and you know where you're going, and then maybe you stop after a couple of months and then you take a break and then you have the second leg of the tour. She's been on tour for like 2.5 years with this Eras Tour. Also, the other thing about tours is typically they support an album. You write an album, you then go out on the road to promote the album. She didn't have a new album when she launched the Eras Tour. She had a whole bunch of stuff she was working on, but she just launched this tour kind of like a greatest hits tour. And here's the amazing thing. Throughout the run of the Eras Tour, which ended last night, she released 3 albums. She put out 3 new albums of material while on this single world tour. 3 whole albums. That's how big of a tour it was. She's going to make $2 billion. And when they say when all is said and done, this tour, the last 2 years of this tour for her is going to be worth about $2 billion. 2+ years, $2 billion, 3 albums released, the Eras Tour. Probably safe to say you won't be seeing Taylor Swift on tour anytime soon. There you go. Now she's going to do whatever it is that she does. Get married, maybe have a baby, make an album. I don't know. Who cares? Let's talk about the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes were announced. Now, I used to care about the Golden Globes. I used to think the Golden Globes were the only award show that was worth watching. Why do I feel that way? Not because it's the Hollywood foreign press, and this is all people outside America deciding what the best of Hollywood was. No. It's because it's the only award show where people are drunk. That's why the Golden Globes are the best. The Golden Globes, it's a dinner. People got plates and they're eating and they're drinking wine and they're having fun. The other award shows is people sitting in theater seats. You can't smoke, whatever. You got people with cigars back in the day. I guess not anymore. But I like the Golden Globes because people get drunk and then they make speeches, and it's always like the best speeches because they're drunk. The Golden Globes were announced today. The Golden Globes, the other thing that I like about it is I feel like I can knock out 2 kinds of award shows in one night, because the Golden Globes deal with both movies and music. And movies and television. Might I add, they should add music. They should next year. Golden Globes going to do music now. Just do it all in one night. Give me the best movie, the best TV show, and the best music. So there's a big winner this year at the Golden Globes, and I don't know, I never heard of this. And you got to be honest, by the description, I don't think it's anything I'm going to watch. Apparently something called Emilia Perez leads Golden Globe nominations with 10, followed by The Brutalist and Conclave. What? Where have I been in 2024? I don't know. Emilia Perez wins 10 Golden Globe nominations. Is that a movie? Is that some Apple show? What is that about? I have no idea. Let's investigate further. Jacques Adouet. Oh God, there's another foul. That you can't have that big pretentious name and then have the first word after it be audacious. It's too much. Jacques Adouet's audacious musical, Emilia Perez. Oh, it's an audacious musical. Nope, that's why I've never heard of it. Emilia Perez. No, thank you. I'm all full up on audacious musicals. Jacques Adouet's audacious musical, Emilia Perez, about a Mexican drug lord who undergoes gender-affirming surgery to become a woman. Fuck! You got me with the Mexican drug lord. I'm like, oh, it's about a Mexican drug lord? Tell me more. Well, it's about a Mexican drug lord who's going through transition. I'm out. You don't need... Oh, God, that sounds stupid. And it's a musical? Jacques Adouard's audacious musical, Emilia Perez, about a Mexican drug lord who undergoes gender-affirming surgery to become a woman, led nominations to the 82nd Golden Globes on Monday, scoring 10 nods to lead it over other contenders like the musical smash Wicked, the papal thriller Conclave, and the post-war epic The Brutalist. I don't know any of these things. I know Wicked. I ain't seeing Wicked. Again, I don't do musicals. And I'm not gay. I'm sorry. I'm neither a female nor am I a gay man. So Wicked is not. Barbie, I didn't see Barbie for the exact same reasons. I'm neither a gay man nor a woman. So yeah, I'm saying that if you're a dude and you enjoyed Wicked, I think you're gay. It doesn't mean sexual orientation. It's just, the other meaning, 1980s meaning of it. The nominations for the Globes, which will be televised by CBS and streamed on Paramount on January 5th, they were announced on Monday morning by Mindy Kaling and Morris Chestnut. gotta be honest. I hear that name a lot. I don't know who Morris Chestnut is. I got no idea. I'm like, I know Mindy Kaling, chick from The Office. Who is Morris Chestnut? I don't know. It doesn't matter. The embattled globes. Why are they embattled? The embattled Golden Globes, which are no longer presented by the Hollywood Foreign Press. Oh, I didn't know that. What? Well, do tell. What happened? The embattled globes, which are no longer presented by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, are still in comeback mode after years of scandal and organizational upheaval. Nobody gives a shit. None of the people who tunes in to watch the Golden Globes gives a shit about your accounting scandals. You're not in rebound mode from that. That's internal bullshit. Those of us, who watch to see our favorite celebrities get drunk and then make an acceptance speech, we don't give a shit about your accounting mishaps. They're still rebounding. The Golden Globes are still rebounding. The embattled globes, which are no longer presented by the Hollywood Foreign Press, are still in comeback mode after years of scandal and organizational upheaval. Working in the Globe's favor this year, an especially starry field of nominees. Zendaya, Timothée Chalamet, Angelina Jolie, Daniel Craig, Denzel Washington, Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Glenn Powell, and Selena Gomez. Yeah. All right. It's a very Glenn Powell. Who's Glenn Powell? Is he like the last white man they're going to allow be famous? Is that who? I don't know who Glenn Powell is, but I'm seeing him everywhere. Like he's it. Like Hollywood is no longer going to be putting out there like white middle America, all America, what used to be the all American boy. And it's like Glenn Powell is the one they got in at the wire. They're like, we need one last white guy to be a famous actor. And then boom, I'm telling you, it's going to be all Morris Chestnuts and stuff. And that's fine by me. I don't care. I'm all for the diversity. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. Glenn Powell, last white actor allowed in Hollywood to become famous. There aren't going to be any more. Who is he? Seriously. I mean, he's everywhere. Oh, there's another white actor that they allowed to be famous who I never saw before. The guy who was on Saturday Night Live this weekend. Did you guys see Saturday Night Live? And this is an Irish guy. He's like from Ireland. He's another one of these Irish actors. He's like there's a whole bunch of Irish actors. I think that they're going to Irish actors because they can't make the South Korean actors stick. Like there's a couple of South Korean actors that for like 5 years, Hollywood has been like, we're going to make them stars. But middle America's like, nope, we're not going to go with the South Korean guys. But there's also like a couple of Irish actors like that Barry Keoghan and all that, who's like suddenly really famous. They seem to be taking to the Irish foreign actors more than the South Korean. So the new guy, a white guy who they're allowing to be famous now was on Saturday Night Live. Me and I don't feel bad about this. My 15-year-old son, no clue. We had no clue who he was. I'm like, you know who this guy is? He's like, I don't know who he is, Dad. I go, I don't know who he is either. He's hosting Saturday Night Live. I don't know. He's in Gladiator, I guess. I guess he's like the star of Gladiator. Let's see here. All right, back to the Golden Globes. Golden Globes. Let's see here. The young Donald Trump drama, The Apprentice, also landed nominations for its two central performances. Of course it did, because they were the two best performances of the year. Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump was surprisingly good. I thought that was going to be a really difficult character to pull off. Who I was really interested in was, of course, Jeremy Strong, Kendall from Succession. Jeremy Strong taking on Roy Cohn, who has been played by others. Al Pacino played Roy Cohn. James Woods played Roy Cohn. So I wanted to see how Jeremy Strong would play him. And Jeremy Strong should win an Oscar. Jeremy Strong was amazing as Roy Cohn in The Apprentice. So both of them got nominated. That's good. Let's see. What else do we have here? How much? I don't care about this. Come on, just give me. They're now talking about Trump's influence on this. Fuck you. Trump has no influence. It's the Golden Globes, you sons of bitches. Stop making everything political. All right, let's just go to the list. I don't even give a shit. Seriously, I'm not going to read this bullshit from the AP about how Trump's upsized influence will be everywhere and it will be dour. Oh, shut up. You just tell me what. This is a story about the Golden Globes nominees, okay? It's supposed to be a list of the Golden Globe nominees. I don't need to. I'm trying to do whatever I can to avoid, all of the stupid Trump stuff. All right, well, fuck that. There you go. The whole story promised to be a list, but it's not an actual list. Hold on. We'll do it. Boom. Here we go. Just give me the goddamn full list. Thank you, New York Post. New York Post is just, they know. New York Post knows that its readers are stupid and they don't want to read context. They just want to see a list. That's all we want. All right, film. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Golden Globes. Best Motion Picture Drama Film. Brutalist. I don't know. A Complete Unknown. That's the Bob Dylan movie. That doesn't look good. Conclave. It's about the election of a pope. Ugh. Dune Part 2. It's on. I'm so disinterested in Dune Part 2. I can't even raise the remote to aim it at the TV and hit play. That's how little I need to do to watch Dune 2, and I haven't done it yet. So Nickel Boys is also nominated Best Motion Picture Drama. I don't know what that is. And September 5th. I don't know what any of this shit is. Do you? You guys know any of these movies? You heard of The Brutalist? I mean, A Complete Unknown. That's the Dylan thing. We know that. Dune Part 2. All right. Then they've got another category here. The Golden Globes Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy. Something called Enora that I've never heard of. Something called Challengers that I've never heard of. Something called Amelia Perez. That's the transitioning drug dealer musical. That no thank you. Something called A Real Pain. Something called This Is Awful. I don't know any of these. Wicked. There you go. Wicked. That's the only thing that I've heard of. Man, I'm telling you, Hollywood and the established, like these institutional established things, the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammys, the Golden Globes, they don't fucking count anymore. Who cares about any of this shit? We are getting our shit from other places. I mean, there is stuff that I have found that I've stumbled across on Hulu that there's been no promotion for, that I'm like, this is better than everything that is being heavily promoted. There's no vetting process anymore. I don't know what any of it. All right, Best Actor in a Motion Picture. Golden Globes. Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. Again, I don't know what movie that is. Timothy Chalamet, A Complete Unknown. There you go. Give it to him. He's playing Dylan. I'm voting for him just because that's the only shit I know. Daniel Craig, James Bond for Queer. Daniel Craig's got a new movie. James Bond's got a new movie where he's making out with dudes. Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing. Now, I don't know who Coleman Domingo is, but apparently he's a big famous actor that I'm supposed to know. Coleman Domingo is the star of that show Madness. The Madness on Netflix that is really bad, really terrible. So whatever. Ray Fiennes nominated for Best Male Actor for Conclave. Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. I'm going to go with Sebastian Stan playing Donald Trump in The Apprentice. That's a good movie. All right, Best Female Actor in a Motion Picture. Pam Anderson, The Last Showgirl. All right, now this is interesting. You want to be dismissive about it, but I have actually seen a lot of people talking about how Pamela Anderson throws down in this movie, The Last Showgirl, where it's going to blow your mind when you see her as an actual drama actor, as an aging showgirl. She's supposed to be terrific, so good for her. Pamela Anderson nominated for Best Actress in a Motion Picture for The Last Showgirl. Angelina Jolie for something called Maria. I don't know what that is. Nicole Kidman for something called Baby Girl. Is that the one where she acts like a dog? There's some, well, is that not Nicole Kidman? There's somebody who's acts like a dog. Is it Amy Adams? Is it Amy Adams or Nicole Kidman? I don't know, something. That I'm interested in that. I'm interested in the movie where somebody thinks they're a dog and they're going crazy and they're moving on. Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl. Tilda Swinton for The Room Next Door. I've never heard of The Room Next Door, but if Tilda Swinton's in it, I ain't never seeing it. I will never see it. Tilda Swinton freaks me out. I don't know what her deal is. She's not good. She's not talented. She's not interesting. She's just weird. She looks like David Bowie. Every time I see her, I'm like, Tilda Swinton's in this? Nope, not watching. It is guaranteed to be pretentious, boring, and long if Tilda Swinton's in it. The Room Next Door, Tilda Swinton, nominated Best Female Actress. Someone named Fernanda Torres for the movie I'm Still Here. I'm Still Here. Do I know that movie? Have I seen that? I'm Still Here. Why does that sound familiar? Is that like something I've seen a long time? I saw a while ago. Okay. Oh, this looks like a bummer movie. Wait, it says it's from 2010? Ugh. I'm Still Here, 2024. Okay, here we go. Let's see, what is this? I don't know. It's about, I don't know. Doesn't look interesting. I guess I don't know what that is. And then Best Female Actor in a Motion Picture, Kate Winslet for a movie called Lee, where I've seen this. This is a bio picture about a fashion model who stops being a fashion model and becomes a war correspondent during World War II. So there you have it. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain. Hugh Grant for Heretic. Gabriel LaBelle for Saturday Night. That's the dude who played Lorne Michaels. He's all right. Jesse Plemons, Kinds of Kindness. I don't know what Kinds of Kindness is, but I've seen the trailer and I'm like, that looks like a good movie. I just got to be in the right headspace to see it. And since Jesse Plemons is being talked about, he's awesome. I'm going to root for him. Landry from Friday Night Lights. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture. Now we got Glenn Powell. Look at him. Glenn Powell for Hitman. What was Hitman? I don't know what Hitman is. Glenn Powell. He's new and he's famous. Sebastian Stan is nominated again. Sebastian Stan was nominated for Best Male Actor in a Motion Picture Drama for his portrayal of Donald Trump in The Apprentice. Now Sebastian Stan finds himself nominated again for Best Performance by a Male Actor in a Motion Picture Comedy or Musical for something called A Different Man. I don't know what that is. Different Man. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Here it is. This is what I wanted. Amy Adams, Night Bitch. Yeah. I want to see this. Oh, she's supposed to be crazy good in this. So I guess the premise of Night Bitch is Amy Adams is a woman who's going insane, and at night she becomes a doll. Not like she thinks she's not really, it's not like a werewolf thing, but like she starts behaving as a dog at night. She runs the streets as a dog. Oh my God. You know what? We're going to see this. You know what? Night Bitch. Been talking about Night Bitch. Let's watch the trailer for Night Bitch. Let's see how crazy this is. Because it sounds like the most unbelievable premise for a movie. How do you get this movie made, right? And then you attach, Amy Adams to it. That's because Amy Adams can get whatever she wants. All right, here you go. Let's watch this. This is the trailer for Night Bitch. Amy Adams is nominated. She's supposed to be amazing. That's why I haven't seen any trailer or anything, but everybody, like for the last couple of weeks, they're like, oh, just give all the trophies to Amy Adams. She's insane. She's going to go absolutely nuts with this Night Bitch thing. All right, here you go. We'll make that big. All right, Amy Adams, Night Bitch.
Cute. Do you just love getting to be home with them all the time?
Yeah, I do. I love it. You're an artist, right? Well, I used to be. Wow! But that feels like a lifetime ago. So yeah, totally. Definitely. We get it. I used to be a stripper. The before times. Yes. Nobody in this family can clean their own butts.
No. Oh, that's okay.
If you wake him up, I will rip your throat out.
Okay, for what it's worth. I would kill to stay home with him every day.
Mama fuzzy. I'm not fuzzy. I just feel off. Look at my teeth. See how sharp they are?
It's a little bit weird.
Motherhood. It changes you and connects you to some primal urges.
I feel like I'm stuck.
Make up a plan, draw up a schedule. Happiness is a choice. Happiness is a choice.
I'll try. I'm never going to be smart, happy, or thin ever again. Oh, and I'm pretty sure I'm turning into a dog.
You're so funny.
Do you ever feel like the big secret is that we are gods? We fucking create life. We are so powerful. What the fuck? I could crush a walnut with my vagina. I am a woman. I am an animal. I am night bitch.
You're so dirty. Where did you go?
I am her run.
That looks awesome, man. I'm sorry. That looks crazy. That looks fun. That looks interesting. That is not Fast and the Furious 15. Okay. That is like a completely original premise for something. And yes, I will do the writer the honor of sitting and watching that because that deserves your attention. She's what now? She thinks she's a dog and she's going to actually start living as a dog. Amy Adams, man, that looks pretty cool. All right, what else do we have here? So she's nominated for that. Amy Adams, best performance by a female actor in a motion picture. Amy Adams, Night Bitch. Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. We've been watching her. Oh, she's gross. Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez. That's the musical about the drug dealer who transitions. Mickey Madison. I don't know who Mickey Madison is, but this person is for a movie called Honora. Oh, that's it. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture musical comedy continues. Demi Moore for The Substance. Now, this is a movie I want to see. This movie looks interesting. Substance is about a new thing that's invented and it takes Hollywood by storm. And it's apparently like a substance that people take and it makes them younger and it like preserves but it does other things to them as well. Stars Demi Moore. I don't know if she's good in it. I don't even know if this movie's any good. I just know that it sounds interesting and I love Demi Moore. And I'm like, I'll support anything that she does because she's a baller chick. I'm also loving Demi Moore in Landman. Yeah, she's the new Billy Bob Thornton show. She plays the wealthy, probably a former stripper. She plays the wealthy former stripper trophy wife of John Hamm, who's an oil company executive. But when I describe her like that, you think that no, she's cool. Like her character's cool. Her character. I know a number of trophy wives in real life. One in particular that I've met recently, who is working on a couple of situations here with us. Cool. Like they're just really cool, normal person who just suddenly finds themselves in this great wealth. Like, yeah, I was a stripper. I used to strip. And then, he was in town. He was working on Wall Street or whatever. And he was in town and we fell in love and whatever. But yeah, that's Demi Moore is in Landman. I keep wanting to say it incorrectly. It's a good show. So good. Paramount. New episode is out. I got one episode of Landman just sitting there in my queue. I'm just sitting there. It's like, you want to watch it? Like every time I turn it on, they're like, hey, you got a new episode of Landman. You want to watch it? And I can't watch it because I can't just watch one episode. It's a show that's that good. So I got to wait like another week. And then they'll have 2 episodes. And like, you got 2 episodes. You want to watch them both? See, that's a night. I can commit to like, okay, I'll get all caught up on Landman. I'll watch the 2 episodes. So I got to wait. I'm in this weird limbo where I need to compile a whole bunch of episodes of Landman. It's so good. If you guys aren't watching, if you haven't started watching it yet, you got 5 episodes. You could do that. You could start tonight. You could start watching and you can be like, you have 5 episodes. You don't have to finish them all tonight, but I mean, so good. All right. So Demi Moore for The Substance, and Zendaya for Challengers. What is Challengers? A whole bunch of people are getting nominated for Challengers. I don't know what Challengers is. And this is the most competitive category so far, at least as far as names that we know. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture, musical, a musical or comedy. Amy Adams, Cynthia Erivo, Demi Moore, Zendaya. Those are all big names. All right, so there you go. Best performance by a male actor in a supporting role. All right, Yuri Borishnov for Anora. I don't care. I don't know who that is. Kieran Culkin. Kieran Culkin, a real pain. Kieran Culkin can act, man. That kid, Roman Roy from Succession, he's so good. Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown. That's the Dylan movie. Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. Guy Pearce. What happened to Guy Pearce? You guys know Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe popped onto the scene at the exact same time in the exact same movie. They were both the stars. They were both unknown. Nobody knew who they were. And then Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe both turn up in a movie called L.A. Confidential. And everybody's like, L.A. Confidential is such a good movie. And Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe are like, these are the two big movie stars. And then Guy Pearce went nowhere. Like, back to New Zealand for you. And Russell Crowe, of course, became Gladiator and A Beautiful Mind and all the other cool stuff that Russell Crowe is. All right, so best performance by a male actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. You got the Yuri Borishnov for Anora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice, Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2. All right, interesting here is that Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice will be competing against his Succession castmate and brother, Kieran Culkin, in A Real Pain. So that's interesting. Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2. I don't know. I don't have a pick there. Jeremy Strong was so good as Roy Cohn in The Apprentice. So good. I haven't seen the other ones, so I don't know. Best performance by a female actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. Ariana Grande for Wicked. Selena Gomez for Emilia Perez. Felicity Jones for The Brutalist. Margaret Qualley for The Substance. Isabella Rossellini for The Concave. And Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. Now that's the category. Those are all names. I know every one of these people. Every one of these actresses I am familiar with in some way. Ariana Grande, not seen Wicked. Selena Gomez, not seen Emilia Perez. Felicity Jones, not seen The Brutalist. Margaret Qualley, not. Who's Margaret Qualley? Margaret Qualley's somebody famous. She's a Nepo baby, but she's got a different last name. Hold on. Who's Margaret Qualley? You people in the chat room are probably going to figure this out long before me. Let's see here. Who is her? There you go. Andy McDowell. That's who it is. Margaret Qualley. Her mom is Andy McDowell. You don't remember Andy McDowell? Andy McDowell was a model in the 1980s who then became an actress. Andy McDowell is the star of Groundhog Day. She's the woman that Bill Murray's in love with. Andy McDowell is in St. Elmo's Fire. She plays the doctor that Kirby, I think is his name, that Kirby falls in love with, and Kirby keeps coming up with reasons and excuses to go to the emergency room so that he could talk to Andy McDowell. Andy McDowell was hot. She was gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful. Also Calvin Klein model. Became famous in the 80s for doing the Calvin Klein commercials where she would say, nothing comes between me and my Calvins. You know, that whole thing. Anyway, that's Margaret Qualley's mom. I knew she was a Nepo baby. I like Margaret Qualley. Margaret Qualley played, first came onto my radar. She played one of the Manson girls in Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or whatever that movie was. All right, let's see here. What else do we got? Come on. Golden Globes list. I can't even pick any winners because I haven't seen any of these. Can we just go to the TV shows? I just want to go to TV shows. I'm not going to do directors. Nobody cares about these directors. I've never heard of these people. Best original score, best animated film. I don't care. At least we got the full list. All right, here we go. TV shows, folks. Let's do this. This is our wheelhouse. This is where we live. Golden Globe nominations for TV. Nobody goes to movies anymore. Television, best television series, musical or comedy. Abbott Elementary. Abbott Elementary is a fine show. It's a fine show. It's a network. It's a network. ABC, kid friendly. ABC. It doesn't deserve all that it gets. It wins everything. It is won. Abbott Elementary has won everything. It's about poor minority kids in Philadelphia in this very DEI-friendly kind of environment. It's that kind of show, man. It's the kind of show that Hollywood cranked out when they were just checking all of these boxes to be good citizens. The kind of shit that we're all tired of having forced down our throats. So, enough people have said Abbott Elementary is actually really great. You should watch it. So I watched the entire first season. Never went back for the second season. I binged it. It's easy. Without commercials, they're only 20-minute episodes. It is an incredibly mid-tier show. And I am sick and fucking tired of Abbott Elementary being fucking nominated in every category, whether it's the Golden Globes or the Emmy Awards. It's just, come on. It is so mid. It's okay because it's got a female person of color creator. So we got to make that up. No. You know who I want to see honored? Why isn't Taika Waititi being honored for What We Do in the Shadows? That's not going to be nominated here. Nope, not nominated there. No, of course not. I could name a half a dozen other great currently in production situation comedies that are head and tails funnier and better produced than Abbott Elementary. But, it's all about, I guess. It's just not funny. I wanted it to be really funny. Everybody says it's so funny. And I'm watching this. I'm like, this isn't that funny. This is okay. This is not great. It's you know what it's like? It's like, what was that other show that people were like, this show is so funny. And I'm like, Young Sheldon. That's it. Young Sheldon. People are like, Young Sheldon is brilliant. I'm like, what? So I watch. Again, Hulu, these kinds of things you're allowed to do. So I watched like the half of the first season of Young Sheldon. And I'm like, no, this is dumb. Now, what's the original show? Not 2.5 Men. The Big Bang Theory. That's a funny show. Big Bang Theory is a good show. I give that. That gets good. All right, so let's get into TV. I'm getting so angry because I got to deal with Abbott Elementary. Best television series, music, or comedy. Abbott Elementary. Also nominated, The Bear. You fucking people don't know what The Bear is, do you? Because I'll tell you, this category is for musical or comedy. And you've got The Bear nominated here. And The Bear is neither a musical nor is it a comedy. It is so good, it defies description. And you people are just shoehorning it into this category. Where is What We Do in the Shadows? Where is season 17 of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? No, you can't reward those shows. Can't reward those shows. We got to give Abbott Elementary a slot, and we got to shoehorn The Bear in here because we don't know what the fuck that show is, but everybody seems to like it, so let's just call it a comedy. The Bear is not a comedy. Abbott Elementary, The Bear, The Gentleman. I don't even know what The Gentleman is. I think I watched it, though. I think I watched The Gentleman. Is that the British? I don't care. It doesn't matter. Hacks is also nominated. Hacks is very good. HBO Max, Gene Smart, Hannah Einbinder. Very funny. Very women in comedy funny. Gene Smart is great. Hannah Einbinder is great. Cast is great. Good show. Hacks. Nobody Wants This. Nobody Wants This is also nominated. Nobody Wants This is a Netflix show with Kristen Bell and some dude, And I don't know, he's like the hip, cool rabbi. And she's like the party girl who just shouldn't be with somebody who's, I don't know, it's fucking stupid. I watched like the first episode of it, and I'm totally in the tank for Kristen Bell. I love everything that she does, but this is just such uninspired garbage. Oh, I get it. So the whole thing is that he's a rabbi. Now, there are some funny side characters, for instance. Her sister is very funny, and his brother is very funny. But seriously, nominated as the best television show of the year, nobody wants this? Talk about mid. That show is just... I didn't finish. I mean, there's more. I can't get through. I'll finish it at some point. Only Murders in the Building. Oh, God. That show sucks. Sucks. This is your grandma's favorite show. Only Murders in the Building. Hey, you watching Only Murders in the Building? No, I haven't watched since like episode 4 of season 1. Well, what do you mean? Yeah, I watched like the first 4 episodes. I went, this is for like grandma and grandpas. I'm not really interested in this. There's nothing interesting here other than the cool ass outfits that Selena Gomez wears. Seriously, that's my big takeaway. My big takeaway from Only Murders in the Building is that Selena Gomez is adorable. All right, my other big takeaway from Only Murders in the Building. Hey, Steve and Martin. Yeah, just go away. Steve and Martin, just go away. Steve and Martin, you're great, okay? It's not cute anymore. It's just like, oh, these two just ringing the cash register one more time. I like Martin Short. Don't get me wrong. I love Steve Martin. But, it's time to move on. Time to move on. All right, so there you have it. Best television series at the Golden Globes. Nominees are Abbott Elementary. No. The Bear. Not a comedy or a musical. The Gentleman. I don't even know what that is. Hacks, very good show. Nobody Wants This. And Only Murders in the Building. I'm going to go with The Bear. The Bear is going to win here. It's not even a category. It's in the wrong category, but The Bear is going to win. This is the category The Bear should be in, but it's a half hour, so they're confused. Wait, drama shows have to be an hour. No, they don't. Stop it. The Bear is a half hour, so you're being reductive. You're like, well, it must be a sitcom. How about watch the fucking shows and then decide? All right, so here we go. Here is best television series drama. The Diplomat. No, it's not. Diplomat is fine. I watched the first season. There's a whole second season of The Diplomat. I might get to it. It ain't great. It's fine. If you like that kind of thing, like political espionage and stuff, Kerry Russell, I like her. Who's the other guy that's in it? The dude from Man in the High Castle. It's a good show. It's just not the best show. Also nominated for Best Television Series Drama. Here's a comedy. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Donald Glover, and some chick I've never seen before. It's the movie. Remember the movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie? It's that movie. It's just now a TV series, and it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. I watched the first season. There you go. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Shogun. Also, isn't that Netflix? Shogun on Netflix. Best television series drama. I don't want to see Shogun. I got a problem with Shogun. My son wants me to watch Shogun. Dad, you got to watch Shogun. I'm like, I ain't watching Shogun. Why not? I'm like, do I got to read it? Like, I think is it Japanese? Like, do I got to read it? I don't want to read it. And I'm just not all into, my son is like super into ancient Japanese culture. Like my kid is like way into like samurais and shoguns and all. He wants to go to Japan desperately. He loves all that stuff. And I think that's cool. But I'm not interested in it. So I'm like, I don't want to see Shogun. People say it's good and it's out there. And if I ever, if I break my hip and I need to like rattle off like 10 series, I might get to it. Squid Game nominated here. What is there a Squid? Is it Squid Game 2? Squid Game is from 3 years ago. I'm not even going to waste my time on that because we're getting to the show of the year. Well, actually, the Day of the Jackal. Day of the Jackal is also nominated. All right. But now this last one is the best show of the year, and it should win. Again, I'll give you the choices. Best television series drama, as nominated by the Golden Globes committee today. We had The Diplomat, we had Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we got Shogun, we got Squid Game, and we've got The Day of the Jackal. But here is the last one, and this is the best show of the year. Slow Horses. Slow Horses on Apple TV. Maybe Landman is as good. Maybe Landman is as good. Slow Horses. I cannot tell you how happy I am to see Slow Horses now in like season 5 or something finally get recognized. This damn show has been so great for 3 or 4 years now. Nobody sees it. Nobody knows what Slow Horses. What's that? It's just really good. It's about espionage in Britain and Europe and the spy game. And these are dimwit spies, but they're not dimwits. They just were in missions that went awry. It's not the Bad News Bears. People think they're the Bad News Bears. They're actually really good. They just had one bad thing. Can happen to any of us. That's what Slow Horses is. It's so good. It is so good. All right. Best television series drama. I'm going with Slow Horses there. Best limited series. Baby Reindeer, Disclaimer, Monsters, The Lyle and Eric Menendez Story, The Penguin, Ripley, and True Detective Night Country. I hear The Penguin's really good. I was going to start watching The Penguin this weekend, but my kid was like, I already watched it. I'm like, well, I want to watch it. It's like, well, wait till I'm not here. Like, oh, you don't want to watch it with me? That's fine. Okay, best performance by a male actor in a television series. Adam Brody for Nobody Wants This. Ted Danson for A Man on the Inside. Steve Martin for Only Murders in the Building. Jason Segel for Shrinking. He's very good. Shrinking's very good. Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building. And Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. Your winner is, of course, Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. Best performance by a male actor in a television series. Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. Best performance by a female actor in a television series. Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This. Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary. Ayo Edebiri for The Bear. Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building. Catherine Hahn for Agatha All Along. Or Jean Smart for Hacks. I wanted to go to Ayo Edebiri, who plays Sydney on The Bear. I love Sydney. Sydney is holding that. Sydney and cousin Richie are holding that whole place together. And I just really think the Bear ought to recognize that. All right, best performance by a male actor in a television series drama. Donald Glover for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Jake Gyllenhaal for Presumed Innocent. Presumed Innocent. I don't know if you guys saw this. What is that? I think maybe it was a miniseries. Remember the movie with Harrison Ford, Presumed Innocent? Well, they made Apple made like an 8-episode miniseries. Same thing as the movie, Presumed Innocent, except instead of Harrison Ford, it stars Jake Gyllenhaal. And it's really good. It's really good. You could do a lot worse with the 8 episodes if you're just looking for something to watch. It's Presumed Innocent. Jake Gyllenhaal nominated here for best performance by a male actor. But unfortunately, he's going to get his ass whipped. If there's any God in this world, Gary Oldman for Slow Horses. Gary Oldman needs to win this. He is so good as a broken down alcoholic Cold War spy. He is so good. Eddie Redmayne for The Day of the Jackal. Someone named Hiroyuki Sanada. He's a shortstop for the Cubs, I believe. Hiroyuki Sanada for Shogun. Oh, now we go and we make it difficult for me. Billy Bob Thornton, Landman. Oh, I've only seen 4 episodes of Landman, and Billy Bob is Billy Bob. Billy Bob is as Billy Bob does. He is good. He is good in everything he does. But I'm sorry. Next year, let's let more people see Landman. Gary Oldman has been playing Jackson Lamb. He's been playing Jackson Lamb now for 4 years, and I want Gary Oldman for Slow Horses to win. Billy Bob, you'll get it next year. What else? Anything else? Best performance by a female actor in a television series drama. Kathy Bates for Matlock. No thanks. Emma Darcy for House of Dragons. No thanks. Maya Erskine for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. No thanks. Keira Knightley for Black Doves. That's brand new. Didn't Black Doves just come out on Netflix like Friday? Keira Knightley, Black Doves. Oh, God, Keira Knightley. Carrie Russell for The Diplomat. She's good in that. And Anna Sawai for Shogun. I don't know. I got no pick here. I'll tell you this about Keira Knightley. We're at that time of year where I make my son watch little chunks of Love Actually, and over because it's my favorite Christmas movie of all time. So over the weekend, it's like my kid would walk in the room and I boom quickly put on Love Actually. He'd be like, "Oh, okay, Dad, fine, 10 minutes. I'll watch 10 minutes." And it just so happened to be one of the scenes early on where Keira Knightley plays the bride. Keira Knightley is she's trying to find an edited copy of her wedding video. And so she's over at the wedding video guy's place and she's going through his tapes. And it just so happens in that particular scene, Keira Knightley looks absolutely angelic. So beautiful. My kid turns to me and he's like, "When was this?" I go, "This was like 2000." And he goes, "Wow, she's really beautiful." I go, "Yes, she is. She is really beautiful." So there you go. Keira Knightley for Black Doves. I hope she wins. I got no pick there. Anything good for no, nothing. Supporting actor in a TV show, Cousin Richie for The Bear, Eben Moss-Bacharach. I'd like him to win. Also, Harrison Ford for Shrinking. He's very good. They'll probably give it to him. They'll probably give it to Harrison Ford because he's such a big star and they get him there. And why not? Make sure he shows up by giving him an award. Best performance by a female actor in a supporting role. Anybody? Hannah Einbinder in Hacks. That's an interesting one. She's, of course, Lorraine Newman's daughter from Saturday Night Live. Hannah Einbinder, nominated for Hacks. Liza Colon-Zayas for The Bear. She's the old cook lady in The Bear who, for some reason, they're trying to make an important figure. And I'm just not interested. I'm just nope, don't care about her. Dakota Fanning. She got nominated for something Ripley. I don't know what that is. What's Baby Reindeer? You guys seen this? Is this something I need to see? Or is it it looks like some weird European show that pretentious Americans are like, "Oh, you should see Baby Reindeer." Isn't it Dutch or something? It's weird. I don't know. Whatever. All right, that's it. I'm done. I don't care. I really don't care. Wait, what is this? Best performance by an actor in a limited series or anthology. Nope, I don't care. All right, that's going to do it. Golden Globes. Look at us, man. We are rolling today. We are running late. Doesn't matter. We're not in that big of a hurry. Cowboys game tonight. Interesting fun fact about the Cowboys game tonight. I wanted to mention this before we get out of here. Did you know there's okay, so you people in the chat room might know more about this than me. What is this weird thing that's going on with the Simpsons and the Cowboys? There's an alternative broadcast to the Cowboys game tonight. The Cowboys are on Monday Night Football, but apparently there is an alternative version of the game that is produced by the Simpsons people. It's a Simpsons. I'm going to read it to you because I don't know. Like I said, man, there are no rules anymore. What happens when the Simpsons join Monday Night Football? Find out during the Bengals-Cowboys game. Says Lisa Simpson once said during an episode of The Simpsons, "What could be more exciting than the savage ballet that is pro football? On Monday night, the entire Simpsons universe gets to experience it in a way not many could have imagined. The primetime matchup between the Cincinnati Bengals and Dallas Cowboys will also take place at Springfield's Adams Stadium as part of the Simpsons Fun Day Football alternate broadcast." What the fuck is that? What is that? What? That's all part of the Simpsons Fun Day Football alternate broadcast. Is that English? How do those words all interact? What is that? I put the game on. I watch the game. What is? All right, let's figure this out. Let's see. The Altcast will be streamed on ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and NFL Plus on mobile devices. ESPN and ABC have the main football broadcast, while ESPN2 will carry the final Manning cast of the regular season. The replay will be available on Disney Plus for 30 days. Okay, so if you miss it, you can go back and I don't know what this is. Guys, I don't understand the world anymore. All right, but whatever. There's something going on with the Simpsons and the Cowboys game tonight, so nothing makes sense. Juan Soto, they just gave him a whole bunch of money. You talk about baseball being dead. Juan Soto is now the highest paid athlete in any sport of all time, ever, whatever. Juan Soto, of course, New York Yankees, big free agent this year. He signed with the crosstown rival New York Mets. Doesn't even have to move. Juan Soto has agreed to a record $765 million 15-year contract with the New York Mets. Hey. Stupid. It's like stupid. You think baseball's going to be around in 15 years? You're giving them almost $1 billion. Good Lord. All right. What else do we have? College football. Hey, how about it? SMU, right? How beautiful is that? SMU, not Alabama. Screw you, Bama. Fold, Tide, fold. Alabama not making it into the playoff. SMU did instead. We're very pleased. Even though SMU, Clemson, upsetting. Texas, Georgia, very upsetting. What else? Anything else that was upsetting? I don't know. Hold on, let me see. I don't need to go into college football today. I wanted to talk. We don't need to go into it. That is not it. Nope. All right, guys, I think that's it. Look at us. We've gone a full extra hour, I think, today. Appreciate you hanging out with me. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll do more of all the day's news, headlines, hot topics, current events, all of that stuff. We do it every day here from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery in Dallas's Design District. I gotta do a couple of things. And then I got that awards ceremony tonight. Ugh. I don't mean to be like, because I'm real excited. This is fun. I wouldn't miss it for the world. It's not like, oh, I can't believe I got to go to that. Oh, if it was canceled, that'd be awesome. That's not what I'm saying. When I say ugh, it's like, why is it at 5:30? It's why are you inviting parents who ostensibly work full-time jobs? And why are you telling them that they got to be there at 5:30? Anyway. Again, here's what we know. We know that he's already won. We know, right? In awards handed out previously, going to be one of those deals. We already know that he's got academic all districts, which is really good. But our fingers are crossed for offensive lineman of the year. It's like the ESPYs on a very small scale. Offensive line. We want him to repeat. He was offensive lineman of the year last year. So we want him to repeat, but also we're thinking because he upped his game with, practicing so hard at learning how to long snap and all that and becoming the long snapper and suddenly giving his team a kicking game. We're hoping special teams player of the year. That's what we would like. But he got the grade thing first. So thank you, Dad Bragg. You guys indulge me. He's the only good thing that I've really ever done. And I'm so proud of him. And you should all feel the same about your little offspring. Especially if they're better than you ever were. Just how it is. All right. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't know how to end this. I never do. It's always weird. Always very awkward. Oh, what's going on in the chat room? Hold on. People, I want to check in on the chat room. Sports Bra says SMU taking on Penn State is going to be tough for the Ponies. Well, that's we're at that time of year, man, where the rubber hits the road. And the beautiful thing about college football is you never know. But there was the first half of the Clemson game was fair. The second half was, make you feel better about it. But the first half was like, oh God. Oh yeah, that's right. This is SMU. Here we go. What else do we have? Adam is talking about the Cowboys game, the ESPN Simpsons mashup on an alternate stream that we're going to get to see today. Adam says they did it last year with Toy Story, and it was real clunky. Yeah, that was I remember seeing that. Wasn't that in England? Wasn't that like the English game? Isn't that? Yeah, I don't know. Jacksonville involved in that. All right, guys, that's going to be it. I love you all. We'll see you back here tomorrow at noon. You're the best. See you. Bye.